I
told you I'm done.
Come on, you looked like you were going to do it.
Yeah, I know. It's to embarrass you. I had several conversations yesterday with listeners about how they enjoy me doing that. So I'm going to keep doing it because you're stupid enough to forget every morning. It's a Victory Monday in the break room. Rochester's Classic Rock 96.5 WCMF. How's it going, buddy?
Pretty good, buddy.
What's going on, female buddy?
Pretty good, buddy.
It is a balmy start compared to what
not
we've been
bad.
dealing with. 36 degrees right now. Going to get up into the high 40s, low 50s, depending on where you are. But we do have some rain coming.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, again, like we'll be high of 40s for the next couple of days. So soak that in.
All the snow will be gone.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, literally soak it because it's supposed to rain
Yeah.
all 3 days.
All right.
Oh, what a day yesterday.
Oh, what a day.
And we've got all day, all morning to get into the Bills winning the game of the year for the second time this year. But, you know, I spent my Sunday at Bill Gray's Tap Room in Shiloh. And you guys know, you've been. It is a party.
Oh, yeah.
Everything about that place is awesome. In my opinion, the best place to watch a game in the greater Rochester area. But not only do they have a lot of regulars who are really into the game, and in a fun way, not in an obnoxious way.
Yeah.
They play the third down horn, like they do at the stadium
Yeah.
on third down, and they play the Bills shout song.
Yes.
And for Bills fans, it's awesome. And that's where we start this conversation.
Okay.
Because amongst the Bills fans at Bill Gray's yesterday, there was a family of Lions fans.
Oh.
3 people. Young dad, young mom, and a young guy, I would guess like 7, 8, 9 years old.
Oh, tight. All right.
Yeah. So this little guy, he's in his Aiden Hutchinson black Lions jersey,
Okay.
and he's watching the game. And as the game starts, you know, the Bills get out to that 14-point lead. He did not look like he was having a good time.
Probably not.
In fact, he was either so frustrated or the music was so loud that every time they would play the shout song as we're jumping around and high-fiving everybody,
Yeah.
he would cover his
Oh,
ears.
Poor kid.
And, like, here's the thing.
I get a kid.
As much as I want to hate this young man,
Yeah.
you know, at least on Sunday,
Yeah.
I can't. Because in this young man, I see myself.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Because there is a special joy to being a youth sports fan,
Okay.
right? A little person sports fan. Those guys are your heroes.
I think anything's possible.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
Right? There is no.
Yeah.
there is,
Even when they're out, they're not really out.
and you live and you die with that team because in your little world, that is the most important thing happening.
Okay.
And I'm watching this little guy watch things not go well for his team. And as much as I'm enjoying my Bills, and as much as I'm laughing
Yeah.
at Mr. Tough Dan Campbell having a hard time controlling Josh Allen, I feel for this young man. And it got me thinking.
What's that?
The phone number is 252-WCMF, 252-9263. It's very common to share your love of sports with your kids.
Yeah.
It's why I'm the crazy Bills fan that I am. Kimmy, it's why you're the crazy Bills fan you are.
Sure.
And it's why you don't have anything you love because your father wanted nothing to do with you, which in retrospect
But it was mutual.
is sharing our sports fandom with our children
Healthy.
a good thing or a bad thing for their health? And I want to be clear, I'm not judging these parents because
Yeah.
I do the same thing with my kids. But I had never watched it from the outside. All the fans that I see that were little guys are mostly Bills and Sabres fans,
Yeah.
and I'm in there with them. You know what I mean? Like, this
Yeah.
was the first time I'd really watched an opponent not having a good time at
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9 years old.
It probably isn't healthy for a kid. I mean, he's 7.
Yeah.
He should just be having fun.
But most of the time you are having fun, especially
Yeah.
as a Lions fan this year.
All right, yeah.
Except when it's not fun. I mean, Kimmy, is that something? Should
Well,
we
it
be?
kind of teaches you, you know, how to take a
Disappointment?
loss, right? I mean, that's like your first intro into like somebody letting you down, right?
Hey, you want to go out for burgers and letdowns? Does that sound like fun? Huh? Yeah. Sadness and shakes.
Well, okay, so it's interesting you bring that up
Yeah.
because you're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
'cause you're not going to win everything, right? It kind of teaches you that.
You're absolutely right. Counterpoint to that, though, like with most other things in life, if they don't go well, right? Like there are things you can do to try to change it.
You
Like
can
if you're
control it.
Yeah, if your grades don't
It's
go
out
well,
of your control.
yeah, you can study harder. If you don't do your chores, you don't get your okay. And there's really no excuse if things don't go well. With sports, not only can you not control it,
Yep.
there's always an excuse.
Yeah.
Right? You can always come up with something as to why things didn't go well, so you don't actually have to reckon with the fact that either your team is not what you thought your team was or it just wasn't their day.
But do you feel like it kind of taught you loyalty?
It definitely taught me loyalty.
I
as
mean,
again,
you're going to stick with this team through the good and the bad, and if you're a kid that switches teams, well, that's a problem.
God, I hated those kids. Is that a good thing, though?
I don't know. I always thought so, but now that you say that, it does kind of creates a little bit of a psychopath.
Yeah. Because then you sign up for like misery.
Yeah.
Okay, I would love
Like
somebody.
you're chained to it.
Somebody needs to do a study.
Yeah.
The divorce rate in Buffalo Bills fans, and if it is higher or lower than any other sports fandom.
Oh.
Because you can make the argument the divorce rate would be lower,
Because you're so used to the highs and the lows.
and the loyalty that you
Yeah.
have forged,
You're gonna
right?
stick
Yeah.
with it.
You could also make the argument the divorce rate would be higher, not just from the stress of watching the Bills, but I've been so loyal to this thing here, I don't need to be loyal to anything else. Like my loyalty only goes so
Yeah.
far.
Can only pick one thing.
Oh.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you think about it, it ruins 2 days of your week if you're that locked up to it.
Yeah.
Ruins more.
Sunday's ruined.
Yep.
And Monday sucks.
Sure.
So you don't start coming around again until Tuesday.
Okay, so I'm a 38-year-old man.
Yeah.
I have a full-time job.
Mhm.
I have 2 children and a wife, mortgage payments,
Yeah.
car payments, all that stuff, right? And if the Bills do not win,
Yeah.
I will not listen to a second of sports talk radio until they win again.
Yeah.
I cannot do it. It infuriates me. To listen to anybody else say anything about the Bills, it infuriates me. So, yeah, that's normal,
Yeah,
right? That's a
okay.
normal thing.
Yeah.
Thing I enjoy, I won't do.
Yeah, and I don't know what it would be like, I guess, if my husband and I weren't both Bills fans. Like, it would almost bother me more, not even if he was a fan of another team, but if he just didn't really care at all, or like he just was like, calm down, this isn't a big deal kind of
That's
vibes.
Yeah, no, you're, like,
Yeah.
I don't know why your wife just doesn't like kick you out of the house because you're right. She is a diehard
Oh,
Bills
she
fan.
goes
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and you
Crazy.
you kind of criticize her and her family.
I just sit there.
for the passion.
Yeah.
Why
But they go back and forth and texting and stuff, and I paid attention to none of it.
can't you just let people love something?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm gonna make fire. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
You know they don't know your name, right?
Oh my God! Says go. I love jazz, man. Jazz is so good. And you have people that have been listening to you for 30 years that don't know your name. Who's that ugly little thing there wearing the pea coat? Who's that guy? Who's that guy there? 252 WCMF. I'm at Bill Gray's Taproom in Chile yesterday watching the game, and normally it's wall-to-wall Bills fans. Almost that yesterday. There's one young family, and they're sitting with another group of Bills fans. Dad, mom, little guy, Lions fans. Little guy like 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, right? And he is just not having a good time. And I felt for the kid. Like as much as I was having the blast, I looked at the kid and I saw myself through all those tough Bills years when I was his age. And the idea that sharing your sports fandom is a birthright and it's something we all do, but is it the right thing to do? So like what the most psychopathic thing about sports fandom is my dad passes down the love of the Bills and the Sabres to me, despite the fact that in my dad's era, the Bills have never won a championship, never come close, right? I luck out where I am conscious for the Super Bowl run during the most formidable years of my life, right? It shapes who I am.
Yeah.
But I still have nothing but heartbreak. So I grow up
Yeah.
as a complete psychopath whose life revolves solely around the Bills for the majority of my being and pass that down onto my kids as well.
Yeah, but your kids don't seem to care.
They
don't really watch the games, do they?
My older one is starting to like understand what's happening.
Yeah, it takes a little time, I think, for that to really for you to get a full grasp of how it works.
For not cool kids.
But it always creeped me out. Like, so I dated this chick years ago in Florida, and I go over to her house to pick her up, and they were Redskin fans.
Okay.
And I guess it was during the heyday of the Redskins.
Yeah, sure.
And their entire house looked like a joke. It was all Redskin stuff, like pillows and blankets and pictures. And
All the theme.
Freaking house was like that. She was a Redskins fan. It was almost like a religion.
No, that's a great way to put it.
But it creeped me out. Like it was too much. I get being a fan. Like I'm telling you, man, it freaked me out that they were this intensive fans. Like everything was Redskins in this house.
Okay.
It was almost like I walked into a cult.
I love how you sit here and you say that. Like
Thank God she put out.
to everybody else but Tommy. It owns a day of the week.
I just
No.
I get it. It's
No.
It's that over the top part.
It owns a day of the week.
I get it.
They have played on every major holiday during the season at this point. Thanksgiving, Black Friday. They're going to play on Christmas this year.
So they're playing 5 straight days of football.
5 and 6.
Well, no, they kept promoting 5 straight days, so that goes all the way to Christmas.
Are they playing on Friday?
Yes, they must be because
Okay, all right. I'm sorry.
there's a Thursday, a Friday. There's like
No, Wednesday, Thursday. It doesn't matter. Bottom line is this.
Yeah.
Bottom line is this.
It's too much.
You walk into somebody's house and you go, "Oh, that's a lot of stuff." The world shuts, the country legitimately shuts down on Sundays.
I get it.
For the most part, to watch football. That doesn't bother you. Couple of posters and a helmet
No,
bothers
bro,
you.
I'm talking a house
Too,
like
it's
nut.
too much, Pat.
Too much.
It
Too
looked
much.
like a joke,
Too much.
and she was into it. Like she was like a big fan.
I can respect that.
Eh,
Why can't you? Well, you don't respect female football fans is what it is.
I wasn't ready for it.
Oh.
You weren't expecting it
You weren't at that part in your life yet?
Like I didn't want to talk about it. You know?
because you couldn't.
No.
I'm honestly
I knew
asking.
nothing about the Redskins. I knew like
Yeah.
a little bit. I knew they used to wear those pig noses. And,
The hogs, yeah.
Yeah, the hogs.
Yeah, and then
That's it. I knew nothing.
I love how he talks about like
I
Washington.
knew Castro tried out for him.
I love how he talks about Washington. Couldn't talk about Washington as opposed to football, period, in general. End of sentence.
Well, I never followed him.
Yeah, that's
I
probably
knew
what
the
it was.
Dolphins a little bit.
Sure.
Because of Marino
yeah.
and Shula.
No, I hear you, buddy. You're a regular football expert. I don't know, man. Like, we shouldn't change anything. Only because, like, one of the best joys in life is having that bond. Like, it's one of the first real bonds you'll have with your kid where you both care about something that deep.
Yeah, you can
right?
do something together.
Right? But at the same time, it absolutely 100% cannot be healthy.
No, it makes you miserable.
And, like, here's the weird side by side, because you're right. It does make you miserable. The overwhelming majority of the time as a sports fan, even if your team goes on some, like, epic multi-year run, they're going to disappoint you
Yeah.
more than they're going to make you happy. It's almost an inevitability based on statistics, right? But that being said, as much of a psycho as I am because of being a Bills fan, all of the tears that I shed as I was a little kid, all of the times you could say I wasted watching these games, I wouldn't want it any other way. Like,
I guess if you stick around long enough, it's not gonna end well for you. You're gonna get disappointed.
yeah.
Yeah, but you hope you just want that one peak, though, right? And then everything you're willing to accept everything else
I think
that
I
comes
think
with
once you get a
it.
taste for it, that's when it really starts to hurt. Like when you see like the decline of like your team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if you get to the mountaintop
Yeah.
and do it, just
I
give me
think,
one.
yeah,
I don't even care.
think that's it. That's
You
a
say
lot of
that
people's
now.
mentality at this point.
I'll say it afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. They could never, if the Bills managed to win a Super Bowl,
Yeah.
they could never win a game again for the rest of my life. I
But
would
you
watch.
saw it.
I would watch every single game, and it would not bother me. I'm telling you right now.
All right.
Like, you better hope the Bills never win a Super Bowl because all of our Bills coverage from that point on and games after, be like, well, what are you gonna do? We want to. What are you gonna do?
But that would be rare. Because most fans I know
Okay.
just hate watching their team suck
Well, tell you what.
after they've been to the top.
Let me get to that.
All right.
Let me get there. We have a dynamite. Watch out for your children.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of break it for you this morning here on CMF. It is a post-game Monday, and oh boy, what a post-game Monday it is. Someone made some picks on Friday.
Sure
Yeah.
did.
He doesn't even have an excuse either. Like, normally, I got
Sound like a
robbed. We have a massive Tommy post-game underline excuse Monday.
I think I got some though.
Did you get some?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think I got a couple.
No, the way you called this game, pretty much exactly
Well,
the
the
way it
end
happened.
didn't happen.
Or the beginning or the middle.
No, I got some. I think I got two.
Yeah, do you think so?
I think so.
Well, we're going to find out.
All
Just
right.
after 7:45, Muley post-game excuse Monday. Just after 9 o'clock, our good buddy, who I intentionally did not call yesterday to confirm just to be a dick because he
Oh.
wanted to run his mouth on the air last
Right.
time we had him. Nobody ever calls me. Tell me. Hot takes, Dan Chesty. Watch your mouth. Please don't curse. Fates from 13 Wham at Buffalo Plus joins us just after 9 o'clock and just after 6:45.
Yeah.
You believe now?
Ooh.
We'll get to it and a whole bunch more here on a post-game victory Monday. But first, Tommy.
Yeah.
We talked last week about how the state of New York, about a year ago, changed a law involving how animals were sold retail-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And that law went into effect yesterday.
Oh,
But there was a problem.
what happened?
Well, here's the thing, man. If any pet stores had any dogs that were still for sale,
Inventory?
yeah, they could not sell them after they closed on Saturday.
So-
And one store, at least in this town, had that issue.
Oh.
We'll get into it next here at the break room on 96.5 WCMF. It's an interesting debate to be had, Tommy.
What's that?
Well, the reason this law went into effect was to protect these animals.
Yeah.
And to keep people from impulse buying living things, right? But you could also make the argument that doing exactly that was going to be a better end for these animals than what they would have gotten had they not been sold. You're hanging out in the breaker, Rochester's Classic Rock 96.5, WCMF just after 6:45. It is a Victory Monday, and I will ask you this question.
What's that?
Now, do you believe? Now, do you believe?
All right.
We'll get into it just after 6:45 here in the break room on CMF. So last week, we talked about a new law that was going into effect this week. About a year ago, the state of New York passed this policy that no longer allowed retail pet stores to sell dogs, cats, rabbits, other animals, certain animals, in pet stores retail. And we had a discussion about how really our entire lives, this is one of those things that we never realized wasn't the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But no one ever thought about it.
Yeah.
Right.
In fact, most of us actively participated in it.
Oh,
Probably.
Sure.
I mean, even if you didn't buy a dog from a pet store, which, I mean, my family did 3 times when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You always went to the pet store.
Oh, yeah. I had to take a look.
Yeah, you went and play with the puppies. There you go. So, that law went into effect on Sunday.
Yeah.
Meaning that Saturday night,
That's it?
all dogs that were still in these pet stores could no longer legally be sold.
Oh.
And that was a problem for one local pet store.
So what happened?
Pet World in Fairport, as of Friday, according to News 8, had 3 dogs left. A poodle, a cavapoo,
Whatever that is.
gimme?
Sounds expensive.
Okay. And a Havanese.
Havanese?
Havanese. All males, by the way.
Wow.
Now, we don't know what happened if the dogs ended up selling, but
Yeah.
like we said, if they didn't sell by Saturday night at close, they were going to have to, the pet store, give these dogs to a shelter or a rescue.
Okay.
Kimmy?
Yeah.
Now, I know you. You are big into the adoption, right? Always
Yep,
adopt.
yep.
Your dog is an adopt.
Sure is.
Adopt dog. Would buying these dogs on the last day it was legal to sell them in New York
Yeah.
be morally okay, in your opinion?
What do you mean? Like customers buying the dog?
Yeah, like, okay, because, I mean, look, again, this is,
Yeah.
there's not only, there's a moral
Well,
argument.
it's better somebody takes the dogs. Yes, I would argue.
Okay, so you're saying,
than just shipping them off somewhere.
so in any other case, buying a dog from a pet store wouldn't be the greatest idea,
Well,
but
I mean,
in this specific case.
in this case, this is what you have left. It's not like you're getting any new dogs in. So I would argue the better scenario here is for people to walk in and buy the dogs.
Tommy, do you have a moral objection to buying these dogs this
No.
weekend? Not
Like
at
I
all.
say, yeah, get rid of them.
But you don't really have a moral objection to the pet store, period.
I mean, it takes more pressure off
Not
the
really.
shelters and rescue groups if people buy them.
Okay. You say not really.
But just give them away or something. I guess you're kidding. They're too expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming these
Yeah.
dogs are all thousands
Oh, yeah.
of dollars.
Yeah.
Is this law a good idea in your opinion?
Nah, I think it's a waste of time.
Oh.
I mean, I don't see why you can't sell pets at a store.
Thoughts,
Or
Kimmy?
you go to a breeder. You know
Well,
what I mean,
It's where they're coming from is the problem. Not so much the moral thing of selling them in the store. It's where these stores are getting the pets from.
but these breeders sell them to these pet stores. That's the way it used to work, right?
So breeder is an interesting term.
Yeah.
Because technically you're right.
Right.
But the word that folks use, puppy mill.
So I think, the last 3 dogs I bought were all from private people, but they kind of did this on the side as a business.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between? I think you're
Well, they're
just
not
calling
like mass producing dogs.
But I mean, this farm had a ton of dogs.
Well, you went to Dog Farm.
Oh yeah, dog farm.
Yeah.
Maybe you were in a puppy mill and you didn't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No,
I don't know the difference because these people seem to do this as a side gig. I don't know. What's a mill? Is it like a huge factory like chickens?
Kinda. They, dogs are kept in like bad conditions,
Oh.
and you just basically use to keep popping out puppies.
Oh.
So you bring up an interesting question because I actually had this same moral dilemma unknowingly
Yeah.
when we bought our Basset Hound biscuit. And the phone number is 252-WCMF, 252-9263. Because the idea with this law is now in New York State, you can only buy from licensed breeders legally.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to assume, we all want to assume, that these licensed breeders are being checked up on to make sure
Yeah.
all the animals are okay. But that also seems like a pretty tall task for a state to
Yeah.
right? So, like, when we bought our Basset Hound, I didn't want to do the whole pet shop thing because Kimmy made me feel really guilty about the whole thing, right? So we went to this family out near, like, Waterloo.
Yeah, they're always like way out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I believe they were a Mennonite family, just based on the way that they were dressed when we got
They're
there.
religious.
Yes. And they had, Mama Basset Hound, and a litter of Basset Hound puppies. And we walked in, and the girls they had these little girls that were in the family, and they were treating these dogs like gold. And my daughters played with their daughters for a little while we were talking turkey or Basset, right? And I want to believe that I bought from a licensed, reputable breeder that cared about the dogs they were raising. But I can also admit, all I saw.
You only see what they show you.
I didn't see the barn. I didn't see any building in the back. So
how
I'm
much
not
investigating you going to do?
Well,
how
that's
much time do you have? You just want to get a dog, get this done.
But like a sucker, I just assume like, oh, well, these people are reputable, right? Like they live out on a farm and they have like I had this like Rockwellian image of like, well, here comes old Bessie and she had another litter of pups. We're all gonna love them till we give them away to another family. Well, I don't know.
So the first guy was farm, nice guy, stayed in touch, and then my wife.
I'm sorry. Can I pause your story right there?
Stayed in touch?
You stayed in touch with the breeder of your dog?
Yeah, so you lived in Webster and he emailed me. Yeah.
Okay. You guys
Is that weird?
Yeah,
I mean, we used to take him out to dinner once a week.
Best kibble money can buy. You were saying, I'm sorry.
So then my wife went and bought her first dog from an Amish family way out, right?
Okay.
She gets the dog home, and it looks like it's going to die. And she doesn't know what to do. The hair starts falling off
Oh,
it.
no.
Oh, my God.
And then all of a sudden, it got okay.
Yeah.
She took it to but again, she just went and bought a dog from this farm, and you don't know.
Sure. You know, it's weird. Everything's starting to make sense. Your wife went and paid and cared for something that looked like it was going to die with all of its hair falling out.
Yeah, crazy, right?
252 WCMF, 252-9263. Again, the retail sale ban for dogs and other animals at pet stores went into effect yesterday, and that was a problem for one pet store in Fairport. They had 3 male dogs left, and if they did not, as of Friday, if they did not sell them by Saturday, those dogs were going to have to be brought to a shelter or a rescue. And the question that we asked is like, there's a moral objection to buying for some people for buying those things, but is there a moral objection here? Because they just would have ended up at a rescue. Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Let's say you're in the market for a dog.
Yeah.
And you see the story on News 8 on Friday. You walking in and trying to negotiate for those dogs?
Oh,
Hey,
yeah, you should.
I know you
Try
got
and
to
talk
get rid
them
of
down.
these anyways.
Yeah.
So
I would try to get them down on the price. Because those dogs, like you said,
I was going to say, some of those sounded expensive. The Cavapoos, I know
probably,
those are not
what,
cheap.
$2,000, $3,000, $4,000.
I don't even want to take a guess. I have no idea what dogs cost.
My first dog cost me $300.
Okay.
This last one cost me $2,200.
$2,200 for a dog?
Yeah. Like, dogs are out of control. Big dog.
Biscuit was like $600.
Go buy it now. How old
Go
is this?
buy it.
Go by now. He's less than 10
I bet you that dog now is 2G, 3G.
for a Basset?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dogs are super expensive. Those purebreds, you know, they whip out the paperwork like
Yeah.
I
Sure.
care. They show me a picture of her great grandfather winning some award.
I will say this. My Basset Hound is a very handsome Basset Hound, and if we were to enter him in dog competitions, he would win.
You should check out his lineage.
Well, we've taken his balls off, so we're out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's over. I don't know. It kind of feels like haggling over a living thing is a dick move.
Yeah, but I guess if you're just trying to get it out of there, right?
Especially if you can save knock $500-$600 off.
Do you have to keep
It would also be really hard to walk out if they were just like, no, we're not negotiating. I think if you went in there with the mindset of I'm getting this dog, you're probably going to pay whatever they ask for anyway.
Yeah, you're right, because it goes back to the whole impulse buy
But you
idea.
can't bring your kids, that's for sure.
No.
Well, maybe you use that as a sympathy pull.
Yeah, but do you want to see like?
Daddy, are we going home with the puppy? They're British for some reason. I don't know.
All right.
Do you have to leave the dog out of the room so it can't hear you bad-mouthing it while you're
Yeah,
trying to talk to
probably.
buddy? Because, like,
Yeah.
what do you say about the dog? Like, dog's not great. I want it, though.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'll take it if you're not going to do anything with it. So the most interesting part of this story on News 8 on Friday, the folks who own Pet World out there in Fairport, who, by the way, say they are not closing up shop. They're just going to follow the new laws and not sell dogs. They'll be selling other things, so they're still in operation.
Pet supplies.
They say this new law could negatively affect looking for dogs, people looking for dogs. And it kind of goes back to the discussion we just had. It's a perspective we hadn't seen until now.
Yeah.
I'll read you a quote from the story. They're forcing people to go on the internet to look for breeders. People are going to have to do their own research whether or not the breeders are good and honest. And I do think they have a point to the point you made earlier.
But to your point, like I don't know a lot of people that got like purebred, like went to a pet store for a pure, like they went and, you know, went to some random farm or went to a breeder to get whatever kind of dog they were looking for because, you know, pet stores always had like random dogs in there. It wasn't like there wasn't any really rhyme or reason for what kind of dogs they carried. So I would think like most people, if you're looking for a specific type of dog, you're probably doing that research anyways.
Yeah, but I guess when it comes to research, not so much where the dog's coming from, just how they treat the
Yeah.
dogs where the dogs
Yeah,
are.
but I
Yeah.
mean, but the pet stores, I guess, weren't doing that.
Well, and here's the thing. We don't know the pet stores were doing that, but I think you can also make the argument for the pet stores. Like, once the store closes up, I don't know how you treat the
Yeah,
dogs, right?
yeah.
So,
Right.
like,
Right.
I get the argument, but you can make the same argument for the pet stores,
Yeah.
right? And I'm
Yeah.
not suggesting this pet store in Fairport was doing anything
Right.
inappropriate,
Yeah.
right?
But I'm sure that there were some out there that were.
You know, the other thing I don't get,
What?
you know, you keep talking about purebred.
Purebred?
Thank you. And you're right. Like, folks that sell these dogs, these breeders, push that stuff. Why is that important to people?
It ain't.
Because unless
It's
you're
like you're bragging. Like this dog is pure.
Oh.
It's like you're talking about a bag of Coke. No, it's pointless, but people like to brag.
Because unless you're gonna like put the dog in a show, it doesn't really matter, right?
Right.
Or like breed the dog yourself, like you're my dad. But yeah, there's no reason to have a purebred dog.
100%.
No, but you pay for it.
But that's also weird because Kimmy, tell me if I'm wrong here. I always thought that the purebred dogs were the ones that always they had a higher chance of health problems.
Well, that was
Yeah, 'cause they're
it's funny
inbred.
you say that because I remember the last golden retriever my parents got. Like, they went to this breeder that claimed, like, these dogs, none of these dogs that we've bred, none of them have ever had cancer or fill
Yeah.
in the blank health problems that a lot of golden retrievers have. And then literally, like, my dog died. Their dog died of cancer. Like, it was just one of those things where it's like, you can't guarantee any of
No.
this stuff.
Happy Monday, everybody.
Well, I'm just
And then the dog died of cancer
I mean, it's
after it was robbed.
it lived a long life ish. But
Ish.
like,
Along ish.
but I think it was one of those things where my parents were like, okay, well, this is all crap because it's happened to them like 2 or 3 times at this point.
Well, but I mean, even the defense of those breeders, right? Like, I guess you can't
Well,
predict
but
cancer.
you
don't
can't.
make that claim, I guess.
Trying to
I
sell a
don't
dog,
know.
Kimmy. ABC, always be closing. All right, let's take a break.
All right.
Feels so good.
Oh, sure.
Feels very Chuck Mangione kind of
Ooh.
post-game Monday this
Yeah.
morning. And the devil's always in the details. What the Bills did yesterday is amazing based on what they had to work with. What Josh Allen did yesterday and has done in the last month is unbelievable. And I ask you this question,
Ooh.
folks listening, loyal break room listeners.
What's that?
Now,
Mm.
do you believe? We get into it next on a post-game Victory Monday here in the break room on CMF.
Play clock down to 7. Another handoff to Cook. Through a hole. Darts to the middle of the field. 30, 25, 20. Still on his feet. 10, 5. And Cook is in for the touchdown. His second rushing touchdown of the game. Goes 41 yards.
Are you not entertained?
That was awesome.
Are you not entertained? Well, the national experts were picking who was going to win this game in Detroit.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Honolulu blue. Well, I'll tell you what, Tommy.
Honolulu.
That's the color the Lions wear.
Oh.
It's the shade. It's called Honolulu.
Oh, did not know that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tommy.
What's that about?
This morning, there's a team that's blue, all right. And it sure as hell ain't the Buffalo Bills. You're hanging out in the break room. Rochester's Classic Rock 96.5. WCMF, by the way, on that run, James Cook gains 35 yards, scores a touchdown, and loses a dreadlock.
Oh,
Did you
God.
see that?
I was like, that had to hurt.
And somebody said that's
so
legal.
bad.
Yeah, it's legal.
Yeah.
How is it legal to yank a guy's hair out?
Well, he didn't do it on
Yeah.
purpose. I mean, like, it's hanging out there.
But
like,
man,
you
you
know.
can kill a guy.
For ripping out a dreadlock?
It's like whiplash in a car.
I mean, you could tie it. Like,
I guess.
Derrick Henry wraps it all up so nobody can get
Yeah.
it. You remember Edgerrin James? Not to go
Oh,
off on a
yeah,
tangent
Little
here?
Train James.
So somebody ripped out one of his dreads by
Yeah.
accident. The guy took it and nailed it to his locker for the rest of the season.
Oh,
The guy
my
who
God.
took it. Anyway, your Buffalo Bills. You're hanging out in the breaker, Rochester's Classic Rock 96.5 WCMF. Once again, win the game of the year, a 48-42 shootout in the Motor City. Tommy, last week, the Bills and the Rams combined for the highest scoring game in the NFL this season.
Yeah.
Yesterday, the Bills and the Lions eclipsed that mark. The Bills have played in the highest scoring game in back-to-back weeks this year. 90 total points yesterday. Over 1,000 yards of total offense. 1,000 yards. If folks didn't think yesterday was a Super Bowl they'd want to see before the game started, it's definitely one you want to see now. And that Lions team, they're a good team.
Mhm.
But you know what that Lions team doesn't have, Tommy?
What?
Josh
Oh, yeah.
freaking Allen. For the second week in a row,
Yeah.
Josh Allen goes over 400 yards of total offense on his own. Just with his feet, Josh Allen outrushed the entire Lions offense by 20 yards.
How many yards did he have on the ground?
68?
Oh, okay.
You try this again.
All right.
68. Hey, I'm on fire today. In the last 4 games since the bye week, Josh Allen has 1,100 yards passing. He has 225 yards rushing. He has 16 touchdowns. He is averaging 4 touchdowns a game.
Absolutely
So
ridiculous.
that's a season for most quarterbacks.
Yeah, sounds about right. Oh, by the way, he's only turned the ball over once. One time. In his last 2 games.
Yeah, what did he do?
2 games, both on the road. He has over 700 yards passing and has 10 touchdowns with no turnovers. It is Josh Allen's world,
Yep.
and we are just living in it.
He is the captain now.
When you go to bed tonight,
Yeah.
hit your knees and thank.
I'm not going to pray to Josh.
I'm not saying pray to
When I
Josh
go
Allen.
to bed.
I'm not saying pray to Josh Allen. I'm saying you thank whoever it is you thank at night
Yeah.
to be living at
No
the
one.
same time in history as Joshua Patrick Allen, because it is a sight to behold. Underneath the star,
Yeah.
we gazed upon a young boy who just keeps scoring touchdowns, son. Kid's the MVP. Kid, how does he
I mean,
not-
they got to get
I
it
don't
now.
Oh,
I mean, decade after decade of disappointment for Bills fans. We deserve this, right?
I think so.
I think so.
I'm knocking on wood.
We just deserve the fun. I mean, it's just fun
So
to
much
watch this guy.
Oh, so much fun. Oh, it brings me such joy.
Yeah.
Watch it. Let it wash down upon me. I love him so much. I want to raise him. I want to raise him as my own.
I think it's already been done.
There's something
Again.
too about that evil little smirk he does, even in like these close games where it's just like he's just smiling in there. He'll get absolutely rocked and smile in their face.
He kept pointing to somebody in the stands, too, at one point.
So the story behind that is there was a Lions fan like giving it to him.
Oh, okay.
And when the game was over, he turned, he smiled, he winked, and he went about his
Right.
business. I love this man. I love
No, he's having fun.
I love him more than
It's
anything
his
in the world.
time.
And he's a psychopath.
Yep, a little bit.
Kimmy's right. Like that's like he took that shot in the chops on that pass to Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was brutal. By the way,
Yeah.
I mean, it was obviously a roughing the passer.
But they didn't call
No,
it.
they call it. There was a flag on that
Oh.
one. They ended up not scoring on that. But I mean, look, I don't fault the guy. Like whatever, you take a shot.
Yeah.
He gets up with a smile on his face. How do you
Yeah.
do that? Because I would be in bed for 9 months after that.
Really?
I want to see you do something.
Oh, I could have.
Oh, I'm gonna get you. Here
Oh, I
I
have it
come.
arranged.
Here I come. The phone number is 252-WCMF. 252-9263. I have one simple question.
What's that?
Do you believe now?
Oh.
I ask you, do you believe now?
'Cause now we got the soft part of this cake schedule.
Knocking on what? 3 very winnable games. Patriots, Jets, Patriots.
Yeah.
Do you believe? Look at me. Look at me.
Will he play the last game of the season?
So the other interesting development yesterday,
What?
in the Chiefs game, Patrick Mahomes hurt.
Yeah.
We
Banged
don't
up a little bit.
We don't know how hurt he is.
It's his ankle, right?
Yes. And he's had ankle problems
He had
for
a
the last
surgery
couple of
before,
years.
right?
Yeah. The Chiefs play 2 games in 10 days. And whether or not he plays,
Yeah.
he's definitely not going to be as mobile as he can be.
So you're thinking they dropped one?
If they drop 2, which is not out of the question, if Carson Wentz is their quarterback, we're back in it, baby.
But we got to keep winning.
Yeah, I mean, you got to beat the Patriots, the Jets, the Patriots. Divisional games, not easy, and I also don't like the fact that you're playing the Patriots twice in 2 weeks because it's like,
But they're horrible, aren't they?
rookie quarterback.
But like they don't even make any noise.
It's their Super Bowl.
It is, yeah. It's just
Twice.
weird that this
Yeah.
all falls at the end of the season. You see him twice in 3 weeks.
Kimmy, do you believe now?
Do I believe?
Do you believe? Do
How
you
do
believe?
How do you not believe?
And it's not just the win.
Yeah, what's that?
It's how they did it. It's easy to get distracted by the play of Josh Allen because he's so shiny and fun. But the Bills' defensive performance will get lost in the amount of points they gave up.
Mhm.
Tommy?
Yeah.
Coming into this game, the Bills were missing both of their starting safeties and a starting corner. They were going into a matchup against the best offensive team in the NFL with only 25% of their defensive backfield ready to play.
Yeah.
You know what they did?
But I know.
They ran out to a 14-0 lead. They ran a defense the Lions were not ready for in those 2 drives, and they then held on for dear life. And they knew they would be overmatched defensively in the passing game. They got after the quarterback early, and it worked. They sacked Jared Goff 3 times. They hit him 10 times. Countless throws altered by guys in his face, in his feet.
But they still got like 40 points.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
At the end of the game.
Yeah.
I get
'Cause-
it. I get
well,
it.
No. Here's what you're
But they've
also.
given up over 80 points in 2 games.
You're kidding me right now.
Well, that's a stat.
It is a stat. It's
It's
also
a
a
lot
stat.
of points.
It's also a stat that you're ugly.
Yeah.
Breaking news, ESPN. He's super ugly. The ugliest man I've ever seen.
I mean, I can't be happy with that defense, man.
Kimmy, help me.
Well, I mean,
gave
you're
up
right. You
80
can't. I mean,
points.
that's not. In most cases, it's not an acceptable number. But when you're down
Yeah,
to,
it's
I mean,
good
you're
if you're
working
playing
with what you
basketball.
got at this point in the secondary,
All right.
especially. I mean, they're holding on by a thread in terms of, letting those big plays happen.
At the end of the game,
Yeah.
because Cole Bishop, who was not a starting safety,
No.
started yesterday, he gets hurt.
Yeah.
The Bills' defensive backfield in the last 10 minutes of the game
Yeah.
was a practice squad player. I believe his name is Kareem Jackson.
Yep.
And Cam
That's a
Lewis.
great name.
It is a great name. And Cam Lewis, who doesn't play safety.
Yeah.
They were just like, go.
Just
Right.
do your best.
Figure
Do
it
your
out,
best
man.
there. I also think it's interesting too because last week we talked about how this could come down to coach versus coach, and it kind of did in a way in terms of coaching decisions. I mean that the decision by Dan Campbell to go for that onside kick
With 12
with
minutes.
plenty of time left. That to me was the game changer.
Kimmy, wait a minute. Wait, that doesn't make sense, though. Because I heard all last week in the break room about how Dan Campbell's the greatest
I
coach
think we're
ever
doing
existed.
this later.
Well, no.
It's very early.
And about how.
We're
And about
doing this
how.
later.
And
Are we
about
doing this-
how.
now we're doing this later.
And about how.
This is a deal where we do 2 bits at once now.
Okay, all right, fine. We can wait. But I do want to talk about coaching. And you
Go
don't
ahead.
have to say nothing, you bitch-ass bitch. Sean McDermott showed what consistency does over flash. Because Dan Campbell is fun, man. Don't get me wrong. His guys love him. He puts his balls on the table. He's a hard guy not to root
Oh,
for.
yeah.
But he lives and dies with the risks he takes. And I asked a question last week.
What's that?
When those risks that you are taking are against a legitimate championship contending team, would it work in the end? And we have our answer. Because McDermott put on a coaching clinic. The Bills keyed in on the Lions linebackers. One of their weaknesses, they ran the ball down their throats with 2 running backs and Josh Allen. They knew the Lions were going to try and stop their most dangerous weapons. Keon Coleman, 1 catch, 64 yards, and was on a broken play. Amari Cooper, your shiny new toy,
Yeah.
not only did he not have a catch, He did not have a target. They did not even throw the ball at him.
There.
Wow.
But that happens a lot with this offense. Like, there are some times where I'm like, is Dalton Kincaid out there?
Yep.
And, there are just certain guys that have a pop every game. Like, he just spreads the ball. You never know who's going to be the hero. And it kind of is Ty Johnson right now.
So that's just it.
Saw coming.
That's just it. The Lions did a really good job of taking away the Bills' most dangerous weapons.
Yeah.
And you know what happened? Your third-string running back, Ty Johnson, had
Huge
5
catches,
catches for 114 yards.
Wow.
Your third running back was your leading receiver yesterday in that game. 252 WCMF. I've been rambling, and I apologize. I'm just super excited. Let's talk to Steve. Hey, Steve, you're on CMF, buddy. What's going on?
Hey, Duffy, how are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm freaking pretty wound up, too. I'm every bit as a Bills fan as you are, with a dozen more years or so on you. But anyway, I want to ask you this legitimate question, I think.
Yes.
After whatever, however many amazing play it was of Mr. Allen had, there was a back and forth with Romo and Nance, where Nance said to Romo, would you say Josh Allen has the MVP? And do you recall what Romo's answer was?
I did not listen to it. I was too busy jumping around play with myself.
I bet. Yeah, and you were I forgot where you were at. It'd probably be hard. Romo's response was, he hesitated, and then he said, it got him closer. And my head almost exploded because I got, what more can this kid do in the regular season, before anybody calls in and screams, win a Super Bowl, in the regular season to secure MVP? What else does he got to do?
Steve, I think what you heard yesterday were two guys that work for a station that gets paid by the NFL. If they all come out and go like Josh Allen's the MVP, it takes the excitement out of the rest of the season for the rest of those guys. So I think it's like when you watch a game and a team's down 30 and they're like, oh, a lot of time left. Yeah. No, there's not. No, there's not. They're just trying to keep you watching.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't take it personal, Steve, but I'm with you, buddy. Thanks.
But I do take it personal. You take it personal. They come out and say Saquon's going to win. They come out and they even said Goff's still in the talk. How's that
they did
possible?
say that a few times.
Well, look, I will say this, man.
Golf talk?
I mean, he didn't. I was shocked at how good he looked yesterday. I guess I really hadn't paid much attention to his personal impact on his team.
And we're going to get more into that while we're crapping all over Tommy later.
Okay.
Steve, thanks for the call, buddy. I really appreciate it.
Right.
No, you're right. Like, Goff had a great game yesterday. But, like, past that point, I don't think Josh Allen can lose this MVP.
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
But who cares? I mean, you want to win a
it's
Super
big
Bowl.
thing for him, though.
Would you rather have a Super Bowl or the MVP?
No, you're right.
Because he doesn't care.
No, I agree with you. By the way, can I just point out something that's happening right now? Because somebody, and you'll find out later because we got a recap coming.
Oh, we're doing this now?
No. Somebody
Is
made
this
some picks.
7:45?
Somebody made some picks, and he's about to be embarrassed. So now he's doing everything he can to bring down the excitement of the room because he
How's it
knows not great.
Oh, not good.
Can't take me down. Get nothing on me
Watch
tonight.
me.
By the way, my favorite part of that game yesterday,
What's that?
other than Josh Allen being Josh Allen, the Lions threw every trick in the book at the Bills. Lateral pass
there's
back to the
trick plays,
quarterback. Yeah, you had an offensive lineman catching a touchdown. You had a hook and ladder onside kick, like Kimmy said, with 12 minutes left, up 10. The dream playbook of every Section 5 high school coach was rolled out in that game yesterday, and it didn't faze the Bills. They took it. They carried on. The D won when they had to. Like Kimmy said, Jared Goff threw for 494, 5 touchdown passes.
That was at his total. I didn't even see that.
And he lost.
Yeah.
He threw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, and he lost. What a world we live in. Let it rain down. Shut up, man. Let Kimmy and I enjoy this, and everybody else, it's not a
Give me some all that amped up.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Let's take one more call. A man who I know.
What?
Amped up.
Who's that?
Super cool Joe. He's on CMF. Hey, Joe. How are you, buddy?
Super cool, Joe.
Go Bills!
Go Bills!
Duff, 3 things I saw yesterday.
What'd you see?
1.
Kyer Elam needs to be in the lineup.
Okay,
Plays
back up corner. Okay, we'll get debate that later. 2. What's 2, Joe?
Cole Bishop should start over Hamlin or Rapp. Either one of the two. The boy's a beast. He's a mean son of a bitch. Get him on the field.
Terrible take, but I don't want to fight. 3, Joe!
Thank you, FanDuel, for being plus 1,500. Any quarterback over 450. Go Goff. I got it all yesterday, Duff. I got it all, baby. Go
Joe,
Bills.
Go Bills. Soak it and enjoy your victory Monday, Joe. Thanks for the call. There goes Joe.
1,500. Look at that.
Yeah, look making money.
A little bit of an overreaction, but you know.
Yeah, no.
We'll let him have it.
We're
today.
not fighting today.
Yeah.
We're not fighting except for one tiny man. All right, so the Bills have 3 games left. All of them winnable games.
Yeah.
Like we said.
Easy Street.
Don't.
Cake over.
No, see,
Say
he's being a
these
dick. Like
things.
he just
Fucking
can't let
care.
people have
I
joy when
know.
he F's up. When he F's up,
I
he
know.
cannot let people
As
have
long as the
joy.
injury bug doesn't show up, we're going to be good to go.
Shut.
Why would you say
Oh.
that?
With the news yesterday that Mahomes might be banged up
Yeah.
and the Chiefs having to play twice in the next 10 days, the door may have cracked back open for that 1 seed. Deep breaths. It's go time, baby.
All right.
It's go time. All right, we will have a recap of Tommy's Picks on Friday. The reason why you hear him being Wet Blanket McGillicuddy over here, which is a Scottish wet blanket. A Muley post-game excuse Monday just after 7:45. And our good buddy from 13 Wham and Buffalo Plus. Thank you. Dan, watch your mouth. Hot takes, Chesty. Please don't curse on the air. Fates just after 9 o'clock here on a Victory post-game Monday on CMF. We love Unique here in Rochester.
Oh, yeah.
Very big fans.
Mhm.
And this, when it opened, I mean, still, if it were to reopen, would be one of the most unique places to eat a meal in the state of New York.
Really?
And guess what?
What?
It's possible again.
Damn.
I told you this off the air, and I was fed some bad information. I'd like to apologize. What I told you last week was wrong.
Oh.
Because this iconic Skyline Eatery
Yeah.
Oh.
could once again be slowly turning towards success.
Oh, wow.
And we'll get into it next here in the break room. On CMF. Rochester loves unique.
Oh yeah.
Strong Museum of Play,
Mhm.
the Great House of Guitars, the Garbage Plate.
Oh yeah.
All things hard to explain to people that aren't from here. All things that have been massively successful for decades in this town. Although this, built, 40 years ago, is definitely unique,
Oh.
it hasn't been successful. And it's up for sale. And I think there's an argument to be made
Mm-hmm.
that if someone were to invest the money to make this unique thing functional again,
Wow.
it would crush.
Oh, you think it would be that big a hit?
Well, I know where you're coming down.
Oh.
You're hanging out in the break room, Rochester's Classic Rock 96.5, WCMF, just after 7:25, 7:30.
Mhm.
This story starts with a man having the police called on him for a fight in public in Canandaigua. And I promise you,
Yeah.
you will not see how this story ends until we tell you.
Mm.
In fact, you won't be able to figure out the twists and turns as it's happening.
That crazy, huh?
We'll get to the story. Just after 7:25, 7:30 here in the break room on CMF. Thomas,
Yes.
the first federal building in downtown Rochester is up for sale.
All right.
If you don't know it by name,
Mm.
you know it by its most popular former tenant, the Changing Scene Restaurant.
The revolving restaurant on the roof.
You got it. Yeah, it was called that because when it was open, it slowly spun in a circle as folks ate. You got a 180-degree view of Rochester while dining. Big time stuff.
Oh yeah.
And there's old funny stories when that stuff was open, when the restaurant was open, that the ledge spun. The dining room
Actually didn't
stayed
even-
put. So opposite way. So if you put your drink on the ledge, not thinking about it, or
You
your
have to
purse,
wait.
Yeah.
you turn and it would be gone, and you
Right.
have to wait a full hour for the whole thing to come back around.
Mm.
So whomever owned that building
Yeah.
would be able to make a killing opening that place up again. And not just Rochester, but upstate New York would have a can only find it here kind of
Okay.
experience, right? Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So there could be some good news.
What's that?
It turns out that Panasonic, the electronics company,
Yeah.
owned the spot that was the former restaurant.
Wait, the company owned that building?
No, not the building. They were in the office. They were in the space that was the restaurant.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
They turned it into offices. Panasonic is no longer there.
Mhm.
So, just for S's and G's, the folks who are selling the building went up to see if the restaurant could still spin.
Yeah.
Quote a story in the DNC.
What did they say?
Quote, we were pleased to see that everything was left in place, intact, and can be revived.
So they can crank up the old gears.
I don't know if I'd want to be the one that tested that.
Well, just don't put anybody up there while you do it for the first time. The phone number is 252-WCMF, 252-9263. With this building for sale
Yeah.
and the space open, would reopening the spinning restaurant in Rochester, New York, be worth someone's investment?
It would. I mean, I the money you would have to spend to open up that restaurant.
Mm.
I never really can understand how you make your money back.
Mm. So that's a no from you?
Yeah.
It'd be a cool concept. Like, I'd want to go check it out. I don't know if it would be a place that's in, like, your regular rotation.
It would actually be a regular
Yeah.
rotation, Kimmy, is what it would be.
Because I'm guessing, like, it would probably be a higher-end place just based on the location and everything. You know, it's a little bit more special than your average restaurant. So
Sure.
I don't know, can you make enough on a higher-end spot like that may be a little tougher to get to for some people? I don't know.
Phone
The
number is
convenience of it may throw it off.
Phone number is 252-WCMF, 252-9263. Would you be interested in a trip down memory lane and a night having a fabulous meal in upstate New York's only spinning restaurant?
It's kind of weird though because it's not like Rochester has this like spectacular skyline to look at or anything. So like it's hey you
Well,
can
you're
see
on the skyline. I mean,
yeah,
you're-
but like hey you could see that hotel that sits abandoned, or you could not see the waterfall. I mean it's not.
well, you still get like you're not getting a view. Period.
It's not like
you
you're
can
going to
see
some-
off in the distance.
I don't get it, man.
What do you mean you don't get it? Like, have you
There's
ever-
nothing really to look at.
No, there's tons of scenery, right? There's greenery and tree and park and hills and mountains. I mean, there's things to look
Yeah,
at.
there is, but it's nothing like blow you away.
Okay. What would you need up there?
I think a better skyline.
Okay. So what should we invest in a better skyline
yeah,
and open that up? Okay.
Because usually these places that are like this are one of the taller buildings in town would have these views. And it's not. It's below some of the other buildings.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah. Like
Okay.
that Xerox building is freaking tall.
Okay. No, actually, I looked up how tall it was, and it says freaking tall.
Freaking tall, man.
freaking
I don't
tall,
know, man. I've never been up there, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay, wait. You wait to say till the end of you bitching to say I've never been up there.
I mean, it's a cool concept, but I think it would wear thin pretty quick. And like to Kimmy's point, that would probably be a high-end joint
I would think so.
to make their bank.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it'd be selling garbage plates and fries up there.
Is there anything else in that building right now?
It was mostly law offices.
Okay.
But
So they're
apparently-
selling the whole building.
Yeah, the whole building's
So I
going.
was wondering, like, could you make it more of like a spot, like a more casual spot for the people that worked in the building? I don't know.
But if it's spinning, that's not. I don't want to have like cafeteria
Yeah.
food and it's spinning. 252 WCMF 252-9263. The first federal building in downtown Rochester is up for sale. That is the one with it's got the circle on top. It's the former Changing Scenes restaurant. And there's an interesting point to be made here as to why I believe it would be successful.
What's that?
If we did this again. I'll get to it in a sec.
Right.
252 WCMF.
It used to be a nightclub at one point.
It was?
Yeah, they had bands up there and
No
stuff.
kidding.
Like big names back in the day.
Big names like who?
You wouldn't know.
No,
man.
tell me, like who?
Big name.
Like
big
who?
band, like,
Like
Buddy
who?
Rich.
What, Buddy Rich? Wow.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. What?
Was that right? Did he? Why are you getting? You are in such a bad mood. Everybody in Western New York is
'Cause
over
he knows
the
what's
moon.
coming.
252 WCMF. Let's talk to Barber. Hey, Barber. How are you, buddy?
Morning, guys. I had a buddy of mine who was a waiter there during the change in scene times, and he said it was a pain in the butt because, like I said, it revolved. If you kept coming out of the kitchen, you had to try and remember exactly where your table was when you were bringing out
Oh,
your
that's funny.
food. Because when you walked out, out of the kitchen, there was a table there. Within 15 minutes, that table is like a quarter of the way around the thing. So that's about how long it takes between your order and maybe when the food comes out. So you had to remember who your table was.
Yeah, that sounds tough. You gotta remember.
Buddy Rich is still up there looking for his cocktail.
Where'd my drumsticks go? Where'd my drumsticks?
He put his drumsticks on the ledge and it still just spun around.
Barber.
Also,
Oh, sorry.
Tommy, nice try wearing Detroit colors on Friday. It didn't work because you were wearing the baby blue, silver, and black.
I didn't even notice that.
Neither did
I
he.
don't remember.
Barber, thanks, buddy. Have a good rest of
That
the
was
day. Okay.
creepy.
I know there's the whole it closed for a reason.
Yeah,
argument.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And
Okay, so what time frame was it open from?
I got you.
Okay.
The restaurant opened in 1977 and it closed in 1988.
Oh, okay, so it's been gone for a long time.
Yep. But the issue was never the view.
Yeah.
It was the food and the service. They ripped through folks who ran it like crazy.
Oh.
Seemed like mismanagement was a big problem here. And at the time of the opening and closing, it's also really interesting date-wise. Because I think, Tommy,
Yeah.
you can break the last century of Rochester into three separate parts.
What's that?
The Kodak glory days,
Oh, yeah.
what I like to call the downtown,
Mhm.
and then the rebirth.
Yeah.
The end of the restaurant in 1988 kind of coincides with the end of the happy days because Kodak, the other, the big three,
Everything was tanking.
yeah, they all start to slip. You saw other high-end places that had existed for decades go downhill in that time, too. It's the end of Midtown Plaza. It was a downturn for the Jenny Brewery. A bunch of high-end eateries and bars that have been open downtown for decades closed their doors. But, Tommy,
What?
right now, there are a bunch of trendy places to
Oh,
eat
yeah.
in Rochester that cost a pretty penny
Mm-hmm.
that are doing really well.
Yeah.
And I would make the argument,
Now's the time, buddy.
I mean, the investment might be worth it only because it is so unique.
Mhm.
It is.
it is. It's very unique.
See, I
Buddy
can't even
Rich.
picture. Is it big enough to be like? Could you have weddings there?
Oh, good
Or
question.
you know what I mean? Like events like that. Like, is it big enough to hold a lot of people?
Here's the problem, though. When you got to get your drunk uncle out every 15 minutes, you got to figure out where the door is. Keep walking him into the wall.
Because like I'm thinking that could be a really popular spot to have a wedding.
It's a good question.
Oh, a party house.
I mean-
rooftop party house.
No, she's right. Think of all the events you could have in a place like that. I mean, Rochester now, it's all events, right?
Yeah,
Everything's
they're
an
turning
event.
a lot of those older spaces into event spaces.
I mean, I think you can make the argument folks are spending money now more on close-to-home luxuries than other things. We've seen several studies that show the way millennials and Gen Z are moving. They'd rather spend money on a high-end dinner than something like a vacation
All right.
or something like a nicer car,
Mm.
right, or jewelry.
So moments.
Yeah.
Memories.
I mean, we see it with the younger people we work with, right? Like, look at Moose and Breezy down on PXY. Spend all their money on like high chicken appetizer on Friday. Check it out. Put it on Instagram.
Yeah, they eat everything on a skewer.
I mean, look. So
All
the
right.
point that I'm making about the
So you think it's workable?
I think not only it's workable, I think it's a $1 million idea for the person who has the right kind of money. Now, you would have to move everything back from offices to restaurant, which they say is feasible.
Yeah.
You would have to get the circular movement up and going again. So you could be right that the juice would not be worth the squeeze based on the fact that this thing hasn't been working since 1988, right? But, I mean, Rochester needs...
Definitely a unique concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would go. You would be there the first week it opened. Like, you sit here like such a bitch, and you bitch and you moan.
I would check it out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're against your own self-interest. So dumb. You argued for a boat that went back and forth to Toronto that you never actually bought a ticket for. You're arguing against it.
I was on it 3 times. I mean, I liked it.
You didn't pay for it.
Well, the station took trips. What do you want from me? It was a popular
It's
show.
not my fault.
Kimmy, would
I
you
just
go?
bitched about it the whole time.
Would you go to Changing Scenes restaurant?
Oh, I would definitely. I'm
gotta
so
get dressed.
curious to see what it looks like
Can't
up
show
there.
up like this.
Okay. You mean I can't wear my Josh Allen T-shirt?
No. You
Yeah,
gotta
you
get.
can. You wear that
I think I
t-shirt
can wear
anywhere.
this anywhere.
Oh, I didn't notice. I don't look at her chest, bro.
Thank you for that.
How could you make it worse by saying you're not doing something? How do you make it worse
I
by?
don't know.
Kimmy, if I told you dinner was going to be $225 for you and your husband,
Yeah, I mean, again, it would
But
be
he
one
ain't
of
gonna
those
be
things
full.
where, like, it would be like a special occasion kind of place, which is why I'm like, I don't know how sustainable that is.
He would just stand
Here.
at one spot and eat off everybody's plate as he came around. Be like hungry hippos.
So you remember like 2 weeks ago,
What?
3 weeks ago, we told you about this brand new steakhouse that was opening in downtown Rochester.
Yeah.
Kimmy, do you remember the name of the place? What was
Patron
it?
Saint.
Thank you. Look at you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Man who said it wasn't going to work
I know.
immediately remembers the name. Why do you remember the name?
Because we're going when we're on break.
Oh, you're going? Oh, my God. Get the hell out of here. That's
Yeah, why should you guys come out?
I couldn't get a reservation because it's too hard to get one right
We're
now.
just going to sit at the bar.
Oh, you be those people?
Yeah.
Bar eaters.
Do you think that they're going to allow your bag of cans in to pay for your drinks?
I'll let you know.
So that restaurant,
Yeah.
we talked about 2 weeks ago. It's very high end,
Oh, yeah.
vintage inside and out, and you questioned if there was a market for it.
Yeah.
You said that you don't think it'll be successful. It's booked out for months.
I understand that, but then, the shine wears off of it, and then the crowd moves on.
You mean like with Trotta? Or Good Luck? Or Red? Or these other places
That's all
downtown?
you
I mean, I'm forgetting
I
some.
know, but we can only have so many restaurants in this town. It's not a big town.
Okay.
Now you want to have your revolving nightlife up top
And eat it too.
with the Buddy Rich tribute band.
I think the problem is,
What's that?
and it's not just you, it's a lot of people
Hmm.
in this town. You're using the Rochester mind of 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I think we are on the cusp
You
of...
were on a what? Big
Go
stuff?
ahead, go ahead.
What do you think? Big stuff?
No, not big stuff. I mean, look, I don't
A
think
renaissance.
Slow growth.
A surge.
this isn't a boat to Toronto.
Mm.
This isn't a brand new stadium
No,
for a
no,
team
no.
that's not going to exist. This isn't like a crazy out of the box thing. It already existed.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is
Just trying to figure out how to rework it.
exactly. When it comes to these new ideas, like the Rock Holiday Village, like Rock the Riverway, like these restaurants, right? Whether or not you're going to use them personally is irrelevant. You have to stop thinking 20 years in the past
Yeah.
with a Rochester mind.
So I need to look towards the future
I would say that, yes.
with enthusiasm.
Yeah. That's
right.
exactly what you have to do.
You know what would work in there?
What?
For the whole damn building.
What's that?
A casino.
Shut up.
With a
No, we're
rooftop-
not doing this.
With a rooftop
No.
venue. Are you
No.
kidding me?
No. Bro, you have been with me arguing against Downtown Casino for 20
But I
years.
just saw it, man. I just saw it in my eye.
Rotating.
Like you could
casino.
book acts up there.
I love how.
A revolving thing with acts.
Oh, and no, how about every night?
Like Jeff Foxworthy going around.
He's literally playing in the round.
What?
We get to a point where we finally don't actually need a downtown casino, and now you want a downtown casino.
But this would work.
Bro, downtown casinos in major metropolitan areas do not work for anything but the people who own the casino.
I want to see KC and the Sunshine Band one more time before I die.
You better get on that. All right, let's take a break.
All right.
There is a story of a gentleman out in Canandaigua, a 28-year-old man, who is in some trouble. And all the trouble started with a call about a fight out in the open.
All right.
But I can assure you
What's that?
that you will not see how this story ends. In
That-
fact,
That crazy.
yeah, Tommy, you won't be able to see any of the twists as they're right in front of your face. And we'll get into the story next in the break room on 96.5 WCMF. I promise you,
What's that?
there is no way to predict how this story ends.
Wild?
In fact, you'll have a hard time guessing what happened step by step because these crimes do not go together, Tom.
Yeah.
And we know that this can change what you would normally think is a good idea. However, not to this extent.
Wow.
You're hanging out in the break room. Rochester's Classic Rock 96.5. WCMF, all of Western New York is feeling great this morning after a massive Bills win in the Motor City. Well, almost everybody. Because somebody made some predictions last week.
I think I got a couple.
Yeah. No, I mean, the way that you predicted the game was going to go is pretty much how we all saw it, right, Kimmy?
Well, he did have a crush on one guy.
Yeah, he did.
I'm not sure how that pick turned out.
Must be pretty disappointed based on shirts. A Muley post-game excuse Monday, just after 7:45, here on a Victory Monday in the break room on CMF. This story, Tommy, happened exactly a week ago, but we found out about it over the weekend.
What happened?
And it starts with a call to police about a fight. The Canandaigua Police Department responded to a call for a fight between two men on South Main Street.
So this is right on the main
Okay,
strip there.
right out in the open.
Kind of feels like it, yeah. But that was the least of the problems for one 28-year-old man involved.
So what happened?
Authorities noticed the man fighting. He had a strange ride with him.
A straight what?
Ride, car, vehicle.
Oh,
It's not a
okay.
car, excuse me.
Yeah.
He had
Strange.
a dump truck.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a big old working dump truck.
Yeah, he was driving a dump truck.
Nice dumper.
Great clip.
So he was on the job?
No. It turns out that he did not work for a dump truck company, Kim.
Okay.
Well, why is he driving a dump truck?
The dump truck
Yeah.
had been reported stolen.
Okay.
Who steals a dump
I
truck
don't know.
and it drives it around a small town?
According to police,
Didn't get very far.
this guy.
Yeah.
So, police say we have a man in a fight
Yeah.
who also stole a dump truck.
So he stopped for a little physical contact with somebody?
I guess. Now, it doesn't seem that the fight he was in had anything to do with the
All
dump
right,
truck.
all
At least
right.
there's nothing in the story.
So
And
no road rage involved.
No. Now, Tommy.
Yeah.
Just when you think this story couldn't get any weirder, police say this man was under the influence of drugs.
Okay.
And they go further and say this man was high on drugs when he stole the dump truck.
All right.
That could lead to some bad decision making.
No, look, hey, that's just it, Kimmy. I know we've all done crazy things under the influence of whatever, but stealing an effing dump truck, I hope to God, 252-WCMF, 252-9263, no one could top that. This man has been charged with criminal possession of stolen property, grand larceny, driving while ability impaired with a prior conviction, and aggravated unlicensed operation, along with other vehicle and traffic violations that they just didn't have space to include in the story.
Okay.
He's got a hell of a court date.
Oh, sure.
Yep. All of that is nuts. But the craziest part of the whole story,
What's that?
if the allegations are true, of course, is something you just touched on. He was just like driving the dump truck around?
Like it was his car.
Yeah. Was that going to be his new ride?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Right?
Well, think of all the space you got.
Okay.
You could load up the back when you go shopping
Okay.
for the holiday.
No.
Show the tree back there.
Yeah.
All of these things valid points.
Yeah.
But like if we start to walk down criminal minds, break room criminal minds. Tommy, if I were to ask you the number one motivation someone would have to steal a dump truck, your argument would be
Money.
okay, you're going to flip that truck. And even
Right.
that seems stupid
Right.
because who's going to invest that much in a vehicle without the right paperwork? But if the allegations are true, it seems he somehow found a dumber reason, which is just driving
Just a
around.
joyride?
Right?
Just because he could?
And even more insane, I mean, Tommy, you brought it up.
Yeah.
You're driving a dump truck around a small town.
Yeah.
Right. I'm guessing you probably stole that truck around Canandaigua.
Would make sense. If
So
you- yeah.
somebody's going to see so-and-so's truck tooling down the
If
street.
you went to a busy area of Canandaigua.
But here's the funniest part.
Yeah.
He wasn't caught
No,
driving
right.
the
You're
stolen
right.
dump truck.
Yeah, he got caught for other reasons.
He was only caught because he was allegedly in this fight.
Yes.
So his plan kind of worked for a little while.
For a little bit.
He was able to drive a stolen dump truck.
I wonder if it had like a company's logo on it, because most dump trucks are logoed.
Okay,
Are
can
they?
we? I mean, do we know that for sure? If we were to,
Well, I mean, think anytime you see a big commercial truck,
okay.
it's usually tied to a business with a logo.
I mean, I've never done a study on dump trucks and logos on dump trucks.
Hmm.
So I don't.
So it'd be like a blank truck.
I don't know. I guess it could be an and sons,
Yeah.
right? Maybe he's one of the sons. Is what you
Okay.
think. I guess, like to your point though, It's like we were talking about with that heavy equipment vehicle that was stolen.
Yeah, that big front
Yeah.
end loader thing.
Yeah, on Jefferson Road and driven out to the sticks. If you saw someone driving a dump truck, even if they were driving it poorly, you would not think in a million years someone stole that dump truck.
No,
right?
probably not.
But it is a little bit strange, and I'm not knocking the police department here, right? They got enough going
Right.
on with stuff, right? But like, it's just weird that like in that town, I'm guessing there was like a thing like, hey, there's a stolen dump truck somewhere.
Yeah, there's like a reported of a missing trucks from Bob the plumber.
I'm dying to know how many miles he put on that dump truck,
Yeah.
and how long he had it.
Before
He
they
was
found
caught
it.
in this
Yeah.
fight. If the allegations are true,
Yeah, because what if the person hadn't even noticed yet?
You
no,
would
he
notice
had
it.
because the dump truck had been reported
Yeah.
stolen
So before
when he was in the fight.
Okay.
So it was out there. It was out that the
Yeah.
truck had been stolen. 252 WCMF 252-9263. Again, we're talking about this 28-year-old man. He was initially arrested for a fight that happened on Main Street in Canandaigua. At least the police were called for that. But when police got there, they noticed he had a strange vehicle, a dump truck. Turns out the dump truck had been reported stolen. So this man got in a fight after he had gotten out of a stolen dump truck from earlier that morning, according to police. Also, police say he was under the influence of some kind of drug.
It's a full evening.
It was a morning. It happened in the
Oh,
morning.
wow.
It was a morning.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
They also say he was high when he stole the dump truck. Also,
Yeah.
this man knew how to drive a dump
Yeah,
truck.
that's the
Yeah.
other thing. Are they easier to drive now?
252 WCMF
Are
252-9263.
they automatics?
I don't know. I mean, the guy, police say he was high. So
I mean, that is impressive.
you need a special license to drive a dump truck, right?
Yeah, you got to have like your commercial license.
And I would assume, like, even if it is automatic, maybe there's like things you need to know to get the thing going.
Yeah, I'd be afraid like I hit the dumper part up or something, or
Hit the dumper part up,
Yeah.
so like an evening with your mom.
Well,
Hit up that dumper real good.
well, to your point, like when most of these work trucks or emergency vehicles
Yeah.
get stolen, you would think like at some point you want to mess with the lights or you want to you steal it because it's got these cool features.
Yeah, yeah,
whereas
yeah.
like I guess I don't know what the thrill of a dump truck would
you raise
be.
the dumper part up.
No, I mean,
Yeah,
every-
but like if there's
Like you're
nothing
dumping
in
something.
it, is that
Every guy wants to drive a
You
dump
go
truck.
full on
Yeah.
dump.
Yeah, dumping it out.
Yeah.
But what if there's nothing in it?
Doesn't matter. You're still.
Oh, I put
Okay.
stuff in it just to dump it out.
Whoa.
Like what?
I don't know, anything I can find. Just to dump it out, see what it does.
But you're not strong enough to get like the full.
I'm not loading it up with like, 20 yards of dirt.
What are you gonna put in there then?
Oh, what's ever laying around?
Like a bicycle and
That
dump
would be funny.
the
out a bike.
bicycle out? Why would that be funny?
And I would tell the kid to get off the bike though. I wouldn't dump a kid and a bike.
No, I would
I'm
have.
not that kind of guy.
Okay, thank you. It's a very, very nice of you. I want to believe, just for the sake of this story,
Yeah.
that it's harder to drive a dump truck than we assume, and that this man, if he was high, managed to not only have the skill to do it, but do it while he was under the influence
Oh.
of drugs. Because that makes the story so much better,
It does.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I also love how, too, we've now had multiple. It doesn't seem there's no reports that the dump truck was damaged in any way.
Yeah.
We've now had multiple companies have these things stolen, like heavy equipment trucks
Yeah.
and things, where they get it back, no harm, no foul.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I mean? 252 WCMF. All right, we've been asking a lot of dump truck
Oh
questions.
yeah, we got some dumpers on the line.
Sounds like we do. Brandon's a big old dumper. Hey, Brandon, how are you, buddy?
Hey, what's going on?
What up?
Hey, so that happened on my street, where the guy ended up stopping.
Okay.
The front end of the truck was pretty beat up.
All right, I take back no damage. I apologize.
But was it like an old pickup? Was it like an old dump truck, or was it new?
Yeah, it was an older dump truck, but it was actually a roll-off truck.
Ah, damn.
Those are the ones that deliver the dumpsters.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Yeah, it
hey.
worked out great because I had a roll-off from that company coming to my brother-in-law's house. We did his roof last weekend, and they ended up having to swap it out for a smaller one because that dump truck or that roll-off truck was in the impound.
All right. Great story, Brandon. Thank you for the call. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it, guys.
There goes Brandon. I don't think Brandon gets
Yeah,
sarcasm.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. 252 WCMF 252-9263. Let's talk to Austin. Hello, Austin.
Austin.
Yeah, this guy kind of just blew up my call, but I was just going to say it could have just been like a 1-ton pickup with a dump box on it.
Why does this always sound so dirty? Like,
Big old dump box.
was none of the guys designing these trucks and naming them thinking about us when they designed them? All right, Austin.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call, buddy. Two guys with the most boring points you've ever heard in your
Got a
life.
big old dump box on her.
You guys having fun? Well, listen, let me tell you why it may not be
Well,
as fun as you think
okay,
it is.
but we do this every time because we are so oblivious to how these things work
Yes.
that we invite this.
It says dump truck.
Everybody's yelling at the radio like,
I'm
these
just-
guys are idiots.
I'm just thinking of a regular dump truck. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it says dump truck
Yeah.
on the story. What is a dump truck? The
Well,
dump
we're
truck.
finding out.
Okay, so now
Got a
now-
one-ton dirt box on her.
it actually worked out because my brother took his roof off.
He's got a steel plate in his head.
So you go. Actually, God said everything I wanted to say. Very boring day where we both are. So going back to the initial story here again with this man, police initially called for a fight on Main Street in Canandaigua. Turns out when they got there, they found a dump truck. Turns out just a roll-off.
Yeah.
Just a roll-off
Standard
truck.
roll-off.
Standard roll-off truck.
Sitting over at my brother-in-law's house right now.
That truck was reported stolen. Police say the man was also high. They believe he was high when he stole the truck, right? Like, I just want to know what this guy's end game was.
Yeah.
What's your end game? Or if the alleged drug use had such an effect on him
Could be that.
that when he sobered up, he'd realize the really stupid thing he did that he would not have done
Yeah.
sober. Like, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Let's say that this guy doesn't get in this fight on Main Street that police say he got into, right? And you sober up and go, oh, my God. Do you try to bring it back and hope nobody notices?
Yeah.
Do you call the police on yourself and hope for mercy?
No.
Do you dump it somewhere and try your best to stay off camera and just
Like
run
you
away?
like abandon it.
Well, those three options, which one are you taking?
I like abandonment.
So you're just going to try and abandon the truck.
Like an ex-wife.
Okay.
Walk away and never look back. Yeah, just take it out in the woods someplace and get out of there.
Well, I heard you can't really do that with a roll-off.
Oh, you can't take a roll off in the woods?
Done at a horse pie and I'm going to get on time.
And get a winch on it?
Give me of those three options. Bring it back, hope nobody notices, call the police, beg for mercy, or dump it somewhere and run. Which one's yours?
Yeah, I'm probably ditching it
Okay.
in a random spot.
We both always go for abandonment first.
Yes.
How are you guys so bad at all of these stories?
What?
The smart thing to do.
We
And
could
really-
bring
go
it
to
back?
the police department?
yes, and beg for mercy.
They're going to bend you over, bro.
No, I mean, look. I mean, granted, in this story, there's damage to it, so maybe
Yeah.
that. But let's say there's no damage.
Right.
Let's say everything
Yeah,
worked out.
yeah.
Say
fine.
you just
Pristine
took it around the
roll-off.
block.
Dump her with a winch.
I'm telling you, man, I am going back with this truck. I'm taking it back where it was. I'm walking
Oh, so you're
into
going
the
to
office.
return it
But
to
you
its
don't get
original
points
spot.
for turning yourself in.
I'm not looking for points. I'm just looking for the least amount of punishment because the idea from you two that you could dump it and not be caught on camera anywhere is very naive.
Well, you do. Okay, so there may be an opening if you bring it back to whoever you took it from, and they're just so relieved to have it back that they're like, 'cause, like, let's say it's an employee of a company, right? And they screwed up because they left the keys in it or something.
Sure, yeah.
I wonder if you would just, no damage, let's call this even, don't tell anybody.
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
no,
really rolling the dice on that.
they already reported it stolen, so they probably
No, I'm
Yeah,
saying,
so-
like, let's
yeah.
say they hadn't yet.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh,
And it just shows up again, and they're like, okay, we got lucky here. Let's move on.
sink it.
Sink
You're
it.
going to add charges?
What charge?
You don't think there's
What
an additional charge for
I'm
putting the...
dumping it in the lake.
Okay, you know how much that...
By the
you're
way,
kidding
like,
me.
what if you
Oh,
don't
no,
get
good.
deep enough so it just has to
No, you
get out
just
of the
drive
lake?
it in there enough where they won't find it for a couple of weeks. By the time they pull it out, all the evidence is washed away. They're cool.
Where could you do that where no one would see it?
Yeah.
At night at a boat ramp. Just drive it straight in, man.
Where
Floor
in
it.
Canandaigua where it's going to be able to get deep enough?
Yeah.
You drive it in there.
I feel like
You
you'd have
don't-
to drive it pretty far for a big vehicle like that to
You
disappear.
swim to shore.
You think you have the
in
physical
the middle
ability
of the winter.
to jump out of the car and swim to shore without
No.
drowning? Actually, I
You're not
encourage you to
gonna
do this.
drown.
No, that's the definition of
You leave the window open.
How did you
drive
come
it
up
in.
with a worse option?
They won't find it till a couple of days later. And
How cold do you think the water is in
Oh, it's
Canandaigua Lake
freezing.
right now? Yeah, that would seize your body up
you
immediately.
can get out of the water quickly.
Bro, no, you can't.
Yeah, you can. Man. People do it all the time.
Not in the
You
wintertime,
see
they
these
don't.
dogs and stuff fall in there. They last 30 minutes.
Quote, you see those dogs, they just don't fall in there. They last 30 minutes.
Yes.
No, they don't. They don't last 30 minutes. Can't you get hypothermia in like 6 minutes?
I think you got like 30 minutes.
No, you don't. Do not listen to this man. He is not telling the truth. Do not listen to this
I
man.
said I think I possibly believe that it's
do-
a known fact.
Everything he's saying
It's a
is
known
wrong.
fact
Do not listen to this man.
that-
You will die. Do not listen to this man.
I'm not saying do it.
You just said do it.
No, I didn't say go do it.
You just said dump the car in the river and the lake and run, you idiot. Oh my God.
Oh, wear a wetsuit. I had to buy one though.
That would look suspicious. Driving out to Runnings off of 5 and 20 to buy a wetsuit in a stolen dump
Do they
truck.
sell wetsuits around here?
I'm sure. Well, yeah, there's that running store on 5 and 20 in Canandaigua sells all kinds of
Like
like outdoor
scuba
gear.
stuff?
I'm sure they have a wetsuit out there.
All right.
Bought a BB gun from them once.
Okay.
Didn't check out the wetsuit section. All right. So the moral of the story:
What is that?
just keep in mind, if you are going to imbibe in illicit substances, maybe keep someone around you that's going to keep you from doing really stupid stuff.
Keep the guardrails.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, that's a perfect way to put it. All right, let's take a break.
Let's do it.
Somebody made some predictions on Friday,
Mhm.
and they were very confident in those predictions. In fact, it was the first time this year that they decided that the Bills were shot.
Mhm.
The game happened yesterday, and all of Western New York is over the moon with how it went.
Oh, yeah.
All of Western New York, with the exception of a single, tiny, leg-shaking little man. You look like a chihuahua in the cold, buddy. Who, Kimmy, from what I understand, they can survive in that water for 30 minutes.
Don't do it, though. Don't throw your chihuahuas in the lake.
Don't throw your chihuahuas in the lake.
Don't throw chihuahuas, period.
Okay. It is a Muley post-game excuse Victory Monday.
Oh, boy.
Well, victory for some.
Yeah.
Next, here in the break room on CMF.
They fake a pitch. It's an inside handoff to Shakir, and he's leaping into the end zone for the touchdown. A 3-yard touchdown run by Khalil Shakir, who has his first rushing touchdown of the season and his second touchdown in 2 weeks.
Feels so good. Yeah.
You're taking a dump.
Your 11-3 Buffalo Bills get the 48-42 shootout victory over the Lions in the Motor City yesterday. By the way, you're hanging out in the Break Room Rochester's Classic Rock 96.5 WCMF. You heard Chris Brown, voice of the Bills, say that was Khalil Shakir's first rushing touchdown of the season. He was mistaken, not his fault because it happened really fast. Turns out that was a passing touchdown.
Oh.
Yeah, because it was a pitch forward, so that's a pass. That will come in handy in a second. Because Tommy made some predictions on Friday. You know, you had been bullish on the Bills all season long.
Yeah.
Picked them to win every game. But your heart had been stolen by another man.
Yes, it had.
And you were in love, starry-eyed, bushy-tailed.
Dashing man from Detroit.
Bulgy-crotched.
Bulgy-crotched?
He's all getting all
bulged.
All bulged up. Tommy made his predictions on Friday. Let's see how those predictions worked out for him today.
Tommy told it like it is. And now we find out how it was. Muley, Excuse Post-Game Monday in the Break Room on WCMF.
Here's Tommy's first prediction from Friday.
All right.
On CMF. Over under 3.5 total touchdowns for Josh Allen on Sunday.
The kid's got to be out of gas. He has to be.
Oh,
and he's got to be frustrated.
Oh, okay.
And that performance that he put out there.
Yeah.
And then this is what happens. The guy scores 6 touchdowns and he loses.
He didn't look defeated. He
Well,
looked
then,
like he was ready to go. He
Of course
saw
he is.
that as a challenge.
He's got to put the game face on. He's a captain.
Yeah,
I don't know. According to you, when he gets to that point, he looks like what do you call him?
You know
what was
man?
it called again?
Detroit is on the water. And you may see Lighthouse Boy making an appearance.
Oh, is he back?
Maybe. The Josh train is done.
So?
The
What?
Wait.
For this game,
like
it ain't
done.
Done.
Or-
It's done for this game.
So the Josh train stops in Detroit.
Oh, yeah. All off.
So are you over or under 3.5 touchdowns for Josh Allen on Sunday?
For the Lighthouse Boy.
Dynamite analysis from our football expert there. So let's look at Josh's line for yesterday here. Josh Allen, 23 completions for 362 yards passing, 2 touchdowns through the air. On the ground, 11 carries, 68 yards, and another 2 touchdowns, which means, oh my goodness, never bet against Josh
He can't keep
Allen.
doing this.
You said that yesterday or Friday.
But he can't. It's physically impossible.
No, he did it. It's possible. He
But
did it.
This is it.
You serious right now?
You're not going to see that every 6 touchdown guy.
Once again, the kid did what he wanted. He was always in control.
Yeah.
The Bills' offense
Hey, he's
moved
good.
up and down
I'll
the field
give
with
him
ease. Kimmy, there was never a play where he took a risk that made us nervous yesterday. Name one. Does one stand out? There was not an interceptable ball. He did not hang that ball out like a loaf of bread when he was running. He was sliding when he had to.
No, you're right. I mean, he didn't put the ball in danger, but there were a few times where like, oh, he overthrew. No, that was an amazing catch.
That Dawson Knox catch, my goodness. So we told you, said he can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
We told you earlier this morning. In Josh's last 4 games since coming out of the bye. No, I'm going to tell you no, because there are people that did not hear us this morning. Wonderful new listeners who need to hear this statistic. Are you ready? In his last 4 games, Josh Allen has over 1,100 yards passing. He has 225 yards rushing. He has 16 touchdowns and a single turnover. And if averaging 4 touchdowns a game is not impressive enough, 2 of those games were against both of the 1 seeds in the NFL, the AFC and the NFC 1 seed in the Lions and the Chiefs. Joshua Patrick Allen, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, you beat the 2 top teams in the league.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and they did beat themselves last week, so I guess that still counts, doesn't it, buddy? Yeah. But we're getting going long here. I mean, the bottom line is you're 0-1. But that's okay.
But I think I got some.
Yeah, maybe. We'll find out. Let's get to our second pick from Tommy on Friday here on CMF. Over-under.
It stung on that back end.
1/2 an interception for Lions quarterback Jared Goff.
So he'd have to cough it up how many times?
Just one would be the over.
Yeah. Goff don't cough. Ain't happening. You don't think Dan Campbell's got this kid ready?
He's not a kid, by the way.
Yeah,
he's like
he's been around.
72.
He's older than Josh.
So he's wise.
I mean, you think the Bills are going to go back-to-back weeks without an interception after the success they've had all season long?
Well, they look pretty rough, man.
Okay.
I think they got stung bad.
Yeah, but
this is second road trip, having to come back home and go back out.
they've been doing that all season long.
Oh, you tell me it's tough, man. This
It
turn
is
tough.
But Kimmy, if I'm not mistaken,
Different time zone.
it's Detroit.
Is Detroit the same time zone?
Yeah. Yes, I'm positive. Same time zone.
All right.
We proceeded to argue about time zones for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Then we got to the other pick. Okay. We gave Josh his flowers, but golf had a hell of a day as well.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
he did.
494 passing, 5 touchdowns, and no interceptions.
Hey.
He took care of the ball for sure. I mean, he threaded some in there. I was like, holy crap. I was impressed.
And I mean, even with like what we just said about Josh, I can't remember a play yesterday with Goff that was even close to a pick. Can you guys?
No.
Where I was like, oh!
I think he did cough it up once, like he fumbled,
He did
but
fumble,
his teammate
yes.
recovered, so it wasn't a big deal.
I mean, Goff looks good, and he's a guy you want to cheer for, right? When you're not playing against him. He was written off in L.A. He was sent to football purgatory in Detroit.
Yeah.
And he was part of this massive turnaround. And you know how I always say, Tommy, football is a stupid, stupid game?
Okay.
Here is your football is stupid stat of the day.
Whatever.
Earlier this year, in a game against the Houston Texans, Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions, and the Lions won that game.
Damn.
So he won throwing 5 interceptions. Yesterday, he threw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns and lost.
Yeah.
How does that work? You're 1-1.
Okay.
Attaboy.
Looking good.
Good job.
And that was a tough game to call.
Yeah, definitely, because I heard your analysis on the first pick.
Seemed pretty confident.
A Muley post-game excuse Monday here on a Victory Monday in the break room on CMF. Tommy is 1-1. Let's get to our third pick from Tommy here on CMF. Do the Bills find a way to lock it down this week? Over under 1/2 a touchdown catch for Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, they're not going to stop that kid. I mean, he's got 2 great influences in his life: his daddy and his coach. And you know, those 2 guys, he looks up to those 2 guys.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? So I'm going to take, what is it, over? What
What is it, over?
One touchdown?
1/2 a touchdown.
Oh,
catch.
you don't think that kid's getting in?
It's your pick.
He don't want to go home and face his dad not getting in.
You mean the guy who's not a weirdo, you just said?
He's not. He's bodybuilder.
I don't
want
wanna go- you don't
Bodybuilders are normal.
You don't want to go home and face that not weirdo guy for no reason.
They just starve themselves to have to work out like crazy.
So you are over 1/2 a touchdown
yeah.
catch for Amon-Ra St. Brown.
All
Okay.
hail the saint.
All right. So you've hit on some lucky picks before in the
Yeah.
past. This might be the luckiest pick you've ever hit upon in your life.
Goff back to pass, looking deep over the middle, and it's caught by Amon-Ra St. Brown. Tripped up but still on his feet. 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Detroit. 66 yards.
You can thank his hard-ass daddy for that.
3rd and 19. Bills linebacker Terrell Bernard had his finger on the ball. He touched
poked it.
He touched it.
Yeah.
He was a half inch from knocking that ball off course. You lucky bitch.
Sometimes you just need luck, man.
By the way, fluke or not, St. Brown also
He looked great.
hell of a football player. He
Yeah.
took advantage of that Bills banged up defensive backfield, 193 yards receiving, and the touchdown that you
He's a
just
hell of
heard.
an athlete.
I mean, the kid can play.
Well, yeah.
And here's what sucks. I've said this before. I'll say it again. You know, I just love football, and I love watching players that can play football play football. And it sucks to see a performance like that against your team because you want to be like,
You
wow,
want to be in awe.
and and enjoy it. But like that happens. I'm like, what is it?
So that kid has been lifting weights since he was like a little kid. Like I want to say 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
He had the father had the whole family working out, like legitimate, doing like bench presses and crap.
Again, how do you know this?
Because it was on that Netflix series called The Receivers. It's really good.
Yeah, it's really good, guys.
Oh yeah, Netflix. They do good stuff.
I heard Buddy Rich is in it.
Oh man, that would be great. I wouldn't mind watching Buddy Rich walk out.
You're 2-1.
Looking pretty
You're
good.
2-1.
Pretty good.
Nothing could stop Tommy Muley now. Let's get to our fourth pick from Tommy. Let's see about Tommy. Do the Bills win? And if not, do they keep it within 2 points of the Lions?
Ooh, 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
So you asked me if the Bills win.
Do the Bills win this game?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we are in week 15, week 15, and we got our first.
Sir.
No.
Go home.
Do they cover the 2.5?
Oh no.
Really? No. What are you thinking?
What am I thinking here? I'm thinking about maybe it gets a little crazy.
Yeah.
And it could be a Detroit
Uh-huh.
Bob Seger blowout.
Let's see here. So it was 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
All right, okay.
We all know where this is going.
Well, no, I was just trying to figure. Oh, what happened? What happened? Like, it blows my mind.
What does it blow your mind?
How wrong you were about that game.
And by the way, the two experts were kind of on my side with
They're both idiots. One of them was dressed like Fat Kiss. Hershey Kiss.
Oh, he was dressed up?
I mean, look, here's the thing. I like kicking you in the scrot because it's fun. I mean, Kimmy, every single talking head, with the rare
everybody
exception.
was picking the Lions this week. It wasn't, you weren't the only one.
It's nuts to me. I mean, I know it's like, there's that old saying, it's a week-to-week league, Kimmy. But for the Bills to have played as well as they did for 7 straight weeks, 7 straight wins, 30 points in 8 straight games.
Yeah.
For one loss on a West Coast road trip, for everyone to lose faith in this team, knowing.
I don't know if they lost faith in them, but they were giving the Lions the upper hand, and I think that also was because, the Lions were home. They were in front of their own fans in a game where it seemed like the one place maybe the Bills fan base couldn't infiltrate.
Well, it's interesting you say that because if I'm not mistaken,
the
last 4 times the Bills have played in Detroit, they've won.
Wow.
And 2 of them not against the Lions because you had yesterday.
Oh, that's right, when they had those games moved.
Yep, you had Thanksgiving 2 years ago. You had the game the week before that with the snow game, and then a couple years before that, they played the Jets in Detroit because of another moved game.
Yeah.
So if I am not mistaken, the Bills have more wins in Detroit. They have a better winning percentage in Detroit the last 10 years than they do at home.
Wow.
So something to factor in.
All right.
All right, so you're 2-2, but that's
All right.
okay. You got one more pick left. You could come out with a win.
Yeah,
here.
we could.
Yeah, let's see how that worked out with Tommy's last pick on CMF.
I say at the end of this game, my boy's going to be celebrating.
Who's your boy?
Who do you think my boy
Well, I
is?
want to clarify.
There's a new boy in town,
Well, he's in his own town.
and it's Coach Soups is going to be celebrating on the sideline.
Dan Campbell.
Coach Soups
Yeah.
is going to be celebrating on the sideline.
By doing?
They might have him up on his shoulders, bare-chested. He may.
So we're getting a bare-chested
You
Coach
might
Soup.
get Dan Campbell and St. Brown's daddy both standing on the Lions
up.
logo, flexing, shirtless.
All right, so hold on. You just picked a lot of
Because like the
different
Bills
I
are going
know.
with the bare feet. Well, the Lions are going with the bare chest.
All right, so
So they might start a new thing where the guys walk around in their bare chest based on how well built their coach is and one of the daddies of the players.
I feel like this is more of a fantasy of yours than it is a bonus pick.
Did you have a dream about this? I mean,
Who doesn't like to look at good physiques?
So I didn't see any bare chest, Kimmy.
no
Did you?
no
You
bare-chested
see any
coaches
bare
out there.
chestes? Okay, so then we just wait for it. There it is.
I hope you had some fun with my.
Oh, we're not done. I asked you.
No, that's it.
I asked you 2 weeks ago
Yeah, what?
if you could switch Dan Campbell and Sean McDermott as head coach of the Bills and Lions.
What
Would
I
you
say?
do that as a Bills fan?
What I say?
You tell me what you said.
I think I said I'd take the switch.
Yeah, you said you would take Dan Campbell as
Yeah,
head
more
coach.
of a man's man.
Okay. Sean McDermott
Mhm.
outcoached Dan Campbell every which way but loose yesterday.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
Paul Newman was in the background. That's how crazy it was. The Bills down 75% of their starting defensive backfield. Threw crazy looks at him in those first 2 drives, got a 14-point lead, and held on for dear life. What you saw from Dan Campbell,
Yep.
what I told you last week, Kimmy, with that onside kick,
Mhm.
reckless.
Yeah.
He's a gambler.
No. There was aggressive, and there was reckless.
Yeah.
And there's a fine line. Sean McDermott is aggressive.
Well, he's very controlled.
He's aggressive but not reckless.
He's a control freak.
Yeah, how'd that work out yesterday?
Okay.
Say it.
Say what?
Sean McDermott's a better coach.
I like the other guy.
No, say it. I mean, well,
He's
He's
not
more
gonna say it.
fun.
oh, is he? Is he fun? Is he
He's-
fun? I want the fun guy
He's more animated.
who loses.
He's very intimidating. He's a big man.
Yeah, not
Tall.
intimidating enough to win a football game yesterday. And I like Dan Campbell. I really
Do
like
ya?
Dan Campbell. I do. But you
Hard
say
to
such
tell.
stupid things. You don't think Dan is that the new flavor of the week? No wonder you've been married 3 times, you bitch-ass bitch. I'm worried that you're going to start cutting out your head's wife in your wedding pictures and put Dan Campbell's head over it in a white wedding dress. All right, 2-3, which is actually way better than you should have done with how you felt this game was going to go. Let's take a break.
All right.
We will have our good buddy from 13 Wham and Buffalo Plus just after 9 o'clock. Dan, hot takes, Chesty, watch your mouth. Don't curse on the air. Please get out of the way. Fates to recap everything. And You know, it's funny. People kept saying yesterday the Bills have beaten the 2 best teams in the NFL in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Are the Bills not the best team in the NFL right now?
It's hard to make an argument otherwise.
But nobody was. Like, you can't say they beat the 2 best teams in the NFL without saying
they're the best team.
They are the best team in the NFL. The Bills are the best team in the NFL. Are they not?
I mean, if you're going record-wise, though, technically, no.
Sorry if you're watching the camera and you saw me do that with my hand.
I think that's the argument a lot of people are making.
All right. We will get into that and a whole bunch more just after 9 o'clock and a victory post-game Monday with Dan Fates here on CMF. But before we get there, Tommy, we are not men's men.
No.
Based on all of your fawning.
We're non-Campbells.
Thank you. We're not hunters. But the hunting world is an interesting world.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have a bunch of folks who just kind of want to be left alone to do their own thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they are very, very concerned with the rules involved in hunting.
Oh, sure. You got to be careful.
And we found out a couple of weeks ago that when somebody is accused of doing something against the law, hunting, the State Department of Environmental Conservation will go deep.
They'll crack your ass.
It happened again.
Right.
And I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a man
Yeah.
who is accused of doing more wrong things in the woods than this man was accused of doing. We'll get into the story next here in the break room. On CMF. Hunting can be dangerous.
Oh, yes.
So because of that, you need very responsible people out in the woods making sure they're following the rules,
Paying attention.
doing the right thing.
Right.
Tommy, the overwhelming majority of hunters do just that.
Mm.
But it seems this guy, if the allegations are true, was doing enough illegal things to make up for all of the good everyone else was
Like, he
doing.
was doing, like, multiple illegal things.
This might be the most illegal hunting trip you've ever heard of in your life.
Wouldn't that be a murder?
You're hanging out. Good call. You're hanging out in the break room. Rochester's Classic Rock 96.5. WCMF. You can hear our voices.
Yeah.
But why not look at a handsome man in his dress sneakers?
Well, these are really comfortable.
They look really cool.
Gronkowski wears them.
Wow. Man
Yeah.
who's been hit in the head multiple times wears the same shoes I do. Watch our live stream. The Odyssey app, WCMF.com, YouTube or Twitch. Watch the show. It's right there for you.
Yeah,
right?
joy.
And you can watch it on the WCMF break room, right? No, the break room. Damn it. The break room WCMF.
Little brown bags.
Shut up. The break room WCMF on YouTube and Twitch. All of that brought to you by our good friends at Three Heads Brewing. Look for their Sprucifer this year in 6-packs, tasty IPA brewed with spruce tips.
Damn.
Here's a tip.
What's that?
Don't wear those shoes again. This story comes from just east of us, and it starts with 2 kids. In mid-October, the state DEC got a complaint about 2 youth hunters out in the field with no adults around.
Yeah.
And that apparently is a big no-no.
Right.
But we're just getting started. A few days later, environmental conservation officers got another tip that the man who was supposed to be hunting with those kids had posted on social media photos of a dead bear that he shot.
Oh, my God.
Damn.
Shot a bear. Now, hunting bear is legal in
Right.
parts of New York State.
Yeah.
The officers jumped into action. They examined the bear carcass where the guy had dropped it off to get it processed. And when they got there, they say there were issues with the tag he had used for the bear. So you got a problem there.
All right.
So you got kids hunting without an adult,
All right.
and you got bear problem.
And a dead bear.
Yep, 2 wrong things.
Hmm.
So the DEC went to the spot where the bear had been shot.
With
There-
the chalk outline and all that.
There,
Yeah.
they say they found cracked corn and sunflower seeds.
All right. What's wrong with that?
It means the hunter had put that stuff down to draw the bear in, which is called baiting, which is super illegal.
But you can't get them. Well, wait a minute. Why is that illegal?
You can't do it with deer either, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're not
you can't
allowed
do
to-
it with any animal.
You're not allowed to put stuff out to draw people in. It's, the skill of the hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're allowed to, like, do bird honks and make them come to you.
Do
What?
bird honks.
Like, you're going to and they blow them
Oh.
out of the sky. How's that?
Hey,
How's that cool?
You do bring up an interesting side-by-side there, because it is a similar concept.
Right.
Not really, because you need, food is
No, but
to
you're,
eat.
yeah, but
Well,
you're telling a
but
bird, hey, I'm over here.
can't
Come check me out.
Can't you also do that for, like, deer, too? Like, can't you make, like, a mating sound for certain animals? I don't know.
Yeah, you know what it is? So,
All right, so you can't drop food down.
yeah, you didn't know that?
No. That's the way I would have done it.
Yeah, and you would go to jail.
All right.
Okay. When it was all said and done,
But you go to jail for that?
I don't know if you go to jail, but you wouldn't be able to hunt.
Hey.
I don't know. 252 WCMF. Can you be locked up for baiting animals and shooting them? Look, bottom line is this. When it was all done,
Yeah.
this man was charged with all of the stuff, and he's got some splaining to do
Yeah.
or face major punishment. Now, I know there are some folks listening surprised about how far the Department of Environmental Conservation goes to investigate this stuff. But, Tommy,
Yeah.
there was a story we had like a month ago. The DEC had interviewed like a dozen people, caught them in lies, even used a warrant for a home search to prove that a guy had shot more deer than he was allowed. You
Yeah.
remember that story?
Yeah, he was loading up on the meat.
They interviewed his brother and got his brother to be like, yeah, I lied, everything. They got his ass. But what might be most surprising
What's that?
is how the hunting community polices itself.
Yeah. They don't mess.
So walk with me, Tommy.
Let's go.
When you have a community of like-minded people,
Yeah.
things can go one of 2 ways. They can look out for each other by keeping quiet, or they can look out for each other by going out of their way to make sure all rule breakers are caught. For example, I highly doubt any car guys are going to call the cops if they're at a place where racing starts.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a motorcycle guy flagging down a cop to point out someone riding without a helmet. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
True.
Yet over and over again, we see hunters that will reach out to law enforcement when they see somebody doing something illegal.
Yeah, because it hurts them.
Is that surprising to you?
Nah, I mean, because, they want to keep their gun rights and they want to keep their hunting rights.
Okay.
So they don't want to have people create the situation where they can lose those rights.
Well, and they don't want people breaking the rules out there because it's dangerous for them
Yeah,
too. You know,
yeah,
I
I
mean,
can also get shot in the ass.
All great
It's
points.
a dangerous situation on top of that.
All great points. It's illegal for you, and you're right. The more illegal animals taken, the higher the chance you go home without something,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
sucks. Right. And also, a lot of hunters are conservationists. They don't want to see the hunting land, the animals being suffering, right? Well, all that being said, there's also a lot of people who hunt that like to be left alone,
Yeah.
right?
It's kind of why you do it, right?
They don't want the government
Yeah.
all up in their business. But then, like when they see this happening, they call the government to come take care of it. And I understand that we do not live in this hunting world, and we are naive to it. It just seems a little bit weird to me, the side-by-side. And it's good that folks are policing themselves.
Yeah.
And like you said, it makes things safer, and I understand why they do it. It's just like the only community that I can think of that doesn't hide the problems of the other people in the community.
No, they go after it.
Right?
Yeah.
Can you think of? Yes, it is. But can you think of another like community of like-minded people,
like hobby or
that are willing to roll over on other people inside that hobby? Can you think of one?
None.
Right?
Yeah.
Makes hunting very, very unique.
Yeah. Like a brotherhood almost. Little mess.
No, why are you pointing at me? You're the one trying to bait bears with food. 252 WCMF, 252-9263. Again, we're talking about this story. A man just east of us. It started with 2 youth hunters out in the field without an adult around. Big problem. Later, the man who was supposed to be responsible for them, according to the DEC, posted a photo of him with a dead bear. The DEC went and investigated that. They found out that there were issues with the tag he used for the bear. They went out to where the bear had been shot. They found cracked corn and sunflower seeds, meaning he baited the bear, which is also super illegal. He was charged with all of these things. He's going to face major punishment. What do you do if your hunting friend is a dick hunter?
Well, you got to break away, right?
Break away.
Yeah, you got to dump him.
We're breaking up.
We're breaking up, man. Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to get rid of the guy.
Well, yeah, I'm guessing you're definitely not going to want to go out with that guy.
Because
go
you
out hunting.
could get in trouble for not reporting it.
Can you?
I'm thinking if
Well,
if you saw the guy
guilty
do
by
so-
association kind of thing.
I love it. We know nothing about
No,
hunting.
but
Just
I'm
throwing
saying
stuff
like
at
if
the
you're
wall.
both out there and can you get in trouble for not reporting it?
Yeah, if you see
Like
him
if
doing
somebody
something
else
bad,
does?
like
Yeah.
baiting the bear.
252 WCMF, 252-9263. I guess, I mean, I can't imagine that you're going to get in trouble seeing someone do something illegal and not reporting it. But it's funny, too, like where our loyalty lies, because I completely understand being out there, seeing someone that you don't know doing something wrong
Right.
and calling that in, right? But it could affect your relationship if you blow your buddy in.
But he could also ruin it for you.
You're right. And, like, there are guys that'll go out with guys that they just know that they've never hunted before. Like, if you go out with a guy and he is a dick, he's doing things that he shouldn't be doing, do you say something in the moment, like stop that?
Yeah, but you'd have to.
Or do you just not go back out with that guy again and hope that nothing happens while you're out there?
I'm guessing these guys are pretty direct.
Why?
Because they're like men.
Okay.
Like, I'm a pansy. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to just, like...
No, I understand.
I was just not going to return your text next week when we were supposed to get together or something.
Guys also don't like direct conflict with buddies.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
The last thing I want to do is, like, shame a guy that I know, even though he's knowingly doing something wrong.
That would bother you,
but-
though, as a strict hunter.
Yeah.
It would chap your ass that this guy's such a, a hunting moron.
Sure.
It's kind of got to be that same feeling of when you're pissed that your neighbor's doing something that they shouldn't be, right? Like, I take care of my stuff. You should take care of your stuff over there. No noise after 10 o'clock.
Okay, but I think
can't make noise after 10 o'clock, so neither can you.
I think that's a perfect example, though, because there are folks that like their neighbors. They just really dislike one or two specific things. Most of those people don't say anything because they don't want to affect their relationship with their friend.
Oh, I don't think. But there are some people that have no problem calling the cops.
Okay. I think we all have friends that they have one or two things that really bother us about.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't want to have anything to do with that person and that activity. You just don't bring it up, and you try not to do that thing with that person.
But this is like your thing you guys do together. That's the problem.
Okay, yeah, if you were doing that together, I'm talking about like a coworker of yours or a drinking buddy, like,
All
hey,
right.
let's go hunting together. You write it out, or you, hey, cut it out. 252 WCMF. Let's talk to Skylar. Hey, Skylar, how are you, buddy?
Morning, folks. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, man. What's up?
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
So, in the hunting community, it's really hard to, like, I didn't get to hunt this year because I don't have a place to go. So the guys that got all the farmland, that they're really picky about you screwing up and then getting the DEC on the property. So if somebody's screwing around and then all of a sudden none of us can go hunting, that's why they all stick together because it's hard to find places to hunt.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, so nobody can go on the property anymore.
Yeah, the owner will just get sick of it and kick you all off.
Okay, so all right.
So one person messes it up for everybody else.
Yeah, and I want to tell you a story about how the DEC are. Me and my buddy Red Bar, our other buddy's like, man, I'm getting a lot of deer this year. So my buddy just jokingly says, hey, if you get an extra deer, I'll take it, you know. So doesn't this jerk kill a deer, doesn't tag it, and puts it on the guy's front porch, thinking it's funny. He comes and tells me down at my tattoo shop, he's like, hey, I put it right on his front door. He can't even get out to go to work.
Something's wrong with this guy's voice, it sounds
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
But go ahead, Skylar. I'm sorry.
Well, because he's a knucklehead. So my buddy was already at work when he put the deer there. So the mailman comes to put the mail and he sees the dead deer. He calls the cops. They call my buddy. So I had to go pick him up, give him a ride from where he works to where he lives. And just by me pulling in the driveway and dropping him off, they were on me. Who are you? What are you doing here? What's going on? I'm like, you needed him here, and I brought him here. For the next 3 freaking days, they came into my tattoo shop and into my house for 3 days just because I dropped that guy off.
And you also look like a serial killer, bro.
I mean, in the defense of the DEC, isn't everywhere you go followed with the immediate questions, who are you, what are you doing here, why are you here?
No, it's usually, hey, dude, or hey, section man.
Skylar takes the call, buddy. Have a good rest of the day.
See you guys.
Man, they take their job seriously.
Yeah. I'll track you down, buddy.
I love you, man. Like, you don't even know how to feel because, like, you're Mr. like anti-authority, but also like you're like, oh, you're doing so good for the deer.
I didn't know they got so serious about dead animals.
Neither did I. I mean,
I always figure, who cares, man? You hit them with a car. I mean, they're just animals. What? I mean, I felt bad for it, but I didn't know there was like a department we got to track down how this deer's
that
dead
makes
ass
sense.
got it. What?
You don't want somebody out there just killing all of them.
I know, but like, it's just amazing. Like, there's like it's like detective work.
It's exactly what it is.
But I never thought they took it that serious.
All right, 252 WCMF is we're having this conversation about where the loyalty lies.
Yeah.
In the hunting community. Keith's on CMF. Hey, Keith, how are you, buddy?
Doing good, Pat. Hey, Kimmy. Tom ass. I can explain to you exactly why a hunter would blow in another hunter for not following the rules. It's because if you're willing to break any of the rules hunting, you could be willing to break a rule with a firearm, and that could kill me. So all of us think if you're willing to break any rules or not follow all the rules, you might not be following the most important ones.
Okay.
So we'll clamp down on that real quick.
Don't shoot your buddy.
All right, Keith, so let me ask you a question. Let's say you got a buddy that you never go and hunted with, someone you work with, you hang out at the bar, and they go, hey, let's go together, and he starts acting a fool while you're out with him. Are you being direct with him like, hey, stop doing that? Or are you just going to ride it out and never go out with him again?
Oh, no. And you put instantly, especially if they're a rookie. You know, your job is to school them and teach them. But there's no such thing as acting a fool in hunting. You don't do that.
You don't do that, Pat.
Okay, no, I understand.
No.
Keith,
That's a comedy club, Pat.
It's not my world, Keith.
It's a radio show, Pat. It's the woods.
Feels like the woods in here.
World out there, Patrick.
Keith, thanks for the call, buddy. Have a good rest of the day.
See you, bro.
There goes Keith. See, now I feel more informed.
Yeah, Keith will dress you down, son.
Literally and figuratively. All right, let's take a break. I brought this up as an idea years ago.
Oh, yeah?
And you said I was an idiot. Well, guess what?
What happened?
Who's the idiot now?
What are they doing?
All right, so the Winter Olympics are less than 2 years away.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a problem. The Italians are having a bit of an issue.
So they're hosting?
The Italians are hosting.
All right.
And it turns out that if this doesn't work out, this one specific thing, you may be able to go watch Olympic events in an Italian Olympics right down the road.
Oh.
And
Wait,
this,
they're going to move it?
And this proves my point that it's been feasible the whole time.
Oh.
And we'll get into it next here in the break room. On CMF. I will fully admit this is not the best idea in the world.
Okay.
In the world being the key statement there.
Mm.
But if this were to happen, it's definitely an opportunity for the great state of New York. In fact, it even being an option shows how smart it would be to give this place one last shot at the world's most prestigious athletic competition.
Man.
You're hanging out in the break room, Rochester's Classic Rock 96.5. WCMF will jump right into it. The 2026 Winter Olympics
The Olympiads.
are in Italy.
Italy.
But there is a big problem.
What's the problem with Italy?
The Italian bobsled team is too hairy to compete. No. I'm sorry, that's very funny to me. The facilities they need are running way behind in construction.
Oh.
Specifically, the facilities for sliding events, your luge, your bobsled, your skeleton.
Yeah.
And the IOC...
They don't have them finished yet?
And they're worried they're not going to be done.
They got 2 years, man.
They're worried they won't be done before the Olympics start.
Oh.
Man.
That's the problem. And the International Olympic Committee is worried. Like you said, they need a backup plan just in case these things aren't open.
Yeah.
That backup plan is just northeast of us.
Really?
Lake Placid, New York, is being targeted as the plan B for these sliding events if the Italians can't finish the construction in time.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know.
There's nothing already in
Europe?
Europe somewhere.
Like, you're right
it
next
is
to
weird.
Switzerland, right?
But then again, like, we do hear stories all the time about these things that get built for the Olympics, and then they never get used again, so they kind of, they just like go
But
to
you're always
crap.
going to use bobsled.
But here, I think like they use this as
And
a training
luge.
facility, so they've maintained it over the years, so
She's
it's
right.
stayed in good shape.
No, so a lot of these, especially with the sliding things, they repurpose them into like tourist attractions. So yes, the track still exists, but now it's for like, a 12-year-old to get on something and like pretend they're being a bobsled.
So how good is the stuff in Lake Placid?
It's top notch. They just redid a bunch of it.
All right.
And like Kimmy said, the U.S. Olympians in their off season
Still in
train.
use,
Yeah. I mean, they live up there,
Okay.
and that's where they train. So
All right.
I know it would be halfway around the world, but also that's not unprecedented.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the French used an island still under their rule thousands of miles away from
Oh,
the
yeah.
Summer Olympics during the surfing events.
Yeah.
What would be unprecedented would be two countries participating, hosting the games at the same time. But like we are just talking about now, there are not many places that have what Lake Placid has. So nothing is official as of this moment. And if the Italians get their act together, it won't even come up. I mean, shock face, a bunch of Italians can't get a construction thing done on time. However, you could see this as an opportunity.
Ooh, big opportunity. Put New York on the map.
Lake Placid needs one more games.
Like a full
Olympics.
Is that possible anymore, though?
No, they don't have like the hotels and stuff.
With the growth of the Olympics and everything since the last time
Yeah.
they hosted, I just wonder, like, is it up to the Olympic standard?
All right, the phone number's no discussion.
automatic.
No. The phone number is 252-WCMF, 252-9263. Look, I get that it may be too small now to host an entire Olympics, but you could use the entire state of New York to do it. And it may be the best option the IOC has for an upcoming games. Hear me out.
All right.
Hosting the Olympics is expensive.
Oh, it's a lot of money, Pat.
It's bankrupted countries in the not-so-distant past. Athens, for example, was underwater.
Yeah.
And like Kimmy said, there are plenty of countries who build things for events and never use them again after the games are gone. They just rot. If you did New York, the state of New York for an Olympics, you wouldn't have to build a single thing.
But you'd have to spread it all out.
Yeah, but that's not unprecedented. Lake Placid has all the sliding and skiing. There are capable hockey arenas in Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse,
Well, you
Utica,
got Madison
Albany,
Square Garden, baby.
New York City, all of these things. But like you could use different arenas for your different events.
But do we have mountains big enough?
Yeah, we have mountains. But they did it in Lake Placid.
No, but like usually now, like they're like cooler looking mountains.
Do you hear yourself right
Well,
now?
they're like resorts and stuff.
You mean like Lake Placid?
All right.
There are a dozen places.
I mean, I was going to say, couldn't you like go to use like Vermont and stuff too if you're going up that way?
I mean, you could, but Lake Placid has already hosted an Olympics
well,
with the mountains
in terms
they
like
have
bigger
there.
mountains, if you needed bigger mountains.
I don't think you need bigger mountains. The Adirondacks are pretty big mountains.
Okay, all right.
And look, here's the best part.
What are you getting so excited for?
I want the Olympics here bad. The maximum distance you would need to drive from the two furthest points apart, like Buffalo and New York City, is only about 7 hours, which is also a common occurrence for countries that host the Olympic Games. Not to mention,
What's that?
you are right on the border with Canada, which means you would attract a ton of Canadians that could just drive
They
down.
like these winter sports. They kind of into it.
From what I understand.
Yeah, they get a kick out of it.
I mean, tell me how this wouldn't work.
Anyway, I'm sure it would work, but
But what?
I just think there's better places to do it.
Where?
Well, I mean, like
Utah.
Utah. The Rockies.
It's the Olympic remix. Utah.
You know what I mean? Like Denver, places like that have big mountains and look
I'm surprised
beautiful.
places like that haven't hosted.
But they would have to spend, and I'm not exaggerating, billions of dollars to put it all together. We're New York.
We're a dunk.
All we would have to do, in theory, is build a new Olympic Village. And even that could help us in the long run because, like London, for example, or Paris, I'm sorry, their Olympic Village was turned into housing.
Oh, look at that.
After it was over, which is something.
We need quality housing up in Lake Placid.
We do. We are desperate as a state.
Yeah, but up that way, though? I mean, these are like more isolated places in New York you're talking about.
Go look what a house costs in Lake Placid.
Well, they're going to be some like super expensive mansion.
So there you go.
All right.
I mean, look, there is literally not a reason you shouldn't do this.
All right.
It should be done. Why are you such a dick?
Because I told you, the one time I went to the Winter Olympics with the old show. What? Why are you?
No, keep talking. I'm sorry. No.
Why are you mad?
Well, I'm not mad. No, go ahead.
Because I've been and you haven't.
No, that's 2 fingers now.
I ran into your dad. We had a great time.
Well, he was on deck for the shot put.
No, but I saw bobsledding. It was boring as hell.
If they had an Olympics in New York,
you don't want to go. Do not waste your time driving to a bobsledding event. I'm telling you, it sucks.
Yeah, but you'd see more than just bobsledding. If you're going to go see the events, like you're not going to go to just one.
No, but trust me, it sucked. Luge, 2 seconds.
I will go to every event that I can get my hands on tickets. I just want
to go to the hockey.
Of course I want to go to hockey. I just want to be around the feeling of like this international competition. They have this hockey tournament every year called the World Juniors. It's the best 20 and under. And they had it in Buffalo a couple years ago. I went up for that for the week. It was the greatest experience. It was so much fun. There was something about international competition that just brings out the best in people. And I love it.
One of the problems between the winter and the summer games. The summer games do bring out everybody.
Okay.
The Winter Olympics do not. It's all a bunch of smug, rich a-holes. So you hate Skinny Atlas? Picture 1,000 Skinny Atlases lined up in a row. Those are the people that show. It's everybody you can't stand.
Yeah, but that's the difference with Lake Placid.
It's not going to be you and your hockey humps walking around boozed up.
That's the difference with Lake Placid. It
just brings out the working man.
You would be able to drive to the Olympics.
You should drive to the Olympics.
See, he's got no
in
points,
a new car.
So he's just doing
but
voices.
you're going to hate it. You're going to hate the people that are there.
Yeah, if you were there, I would hate it. If you went, I would hate
Well,
it.
picture 1,000 me's.
God, it's got a chill down my spine.
Your mother does it every night.
252 WCMF. Again, a story over the weekend that Lake Placid looks like the emergency backup plan. If the 2026 facilities for the Winter Olympics in Italy are not finished, apparently they are way behind. The NHL is toying with not letting their guys go to play because they won't be able to take a look at the ice rink before the games start.
Who had the last Winter Olympics? Why am I blanking?
Why am I blanking?
I want to say China.
Yeah, it was one. I think it was an Asian country.
Okay.
I thought it was China.
Well, I was going to say, like, you would think those facilities would still be okay.
Yeah, there's no cheese.
No cheese up there. Yeah, but I mean, lack of cheese. They tried that already, and it just didn't. Athletes wanted cheese. Yeah, I don't know, Kimmy. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, no, but I would think Lake Placid is closer to Italy than China would be, right?
Let's run the other side.
No, that's what
I don't know.
Well, are we really going to try this now? This stupid show that we do. We can't do math. We can't read.
I don't know how far China is from Italy.
I think I would guess that Lake Placid is closer to Italy than China is to Italy. Because, like that Middle East, and then
it's out there, bro.
It's a lot of space.
It's out there.
Right?
Italy looks like it's like in the middle of the two.
Okay, why don't we'll have Kimmy Google when she gets off the phone.
It's probably, Beijing is probably farther away.
Okay, so there you go. That's why you would go to Lake Placid.
Because that's like their number one town.
And I'm also assuming that the IOC, if you have to choose a government to deal with, would want to deal with the Americans as opposed to the Chinese.
Yeah,
maybe just a guess with everything that's going on in the world right now. Look, man, if this happens, it is if the backup plan happens in Lake Placid, it is a massive opportunity to get one more Olympics here. And even if it doesn't happen, the fact they're even considering holding events in Lake Placid when the games are an entire ocean away shows that someone in the state of New York needs to put together a plan to make this a reality.
But they're probably already booked out to 2055.
I think it's 20 years ahead of time.
Yeah, so bro, you'll be 80.
I'll be in my mid-50s.
Yeah, but you'll look 80.
Look who's talking.
I'm almost 80.
Hey, you look.
I'm supposed to look like this.
You're not almost 80. You look over 80. Kimmy, can you Google what's farther from Italy, Lake Placid or China? Thank you.
Well, you got to pick a spot in China.
China's not that big.
What?
China's not that big.
China's huge.
Land-wise.
It's huge, bro.
Compared to the United States of America.
The country of China is bigger than the country of America.
You're kidding me.
No.
You're going to have this argument.
You think China is smaller than America?
Yes. By landmass?
No.
I bet you it's a third.
No, third.
Did I stutter?
That's like, what do you think? It's Jersey?
You really want to have this argument with me?
You brought it up.
I'm telling you, I made a statement of fact, and you just run your stupid mouth. You think China, landmass-wise, is bigger than the United States of America? Yeah. You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
And you think they have snow?
They do have snow. They had a Winter Olympics there.
I think they trucked it in from Siberia.
We're just right next to Asia.
Yeah. Big spot too.
Oh my God.
I hear Mongolia is nice this time of year.
Facebook messages coming in. You can always get us at WCMF for the Break Room Facebook page. We're all feeling this big Bills win.
Yeah.
This comes in from Rick. Bills fans will go sit out in the freezing cold and drink beer that's frozen solid to watch their football team play. Another New York Olympics based on that would be massively successful. You'd sell out every single event just so folks could feel like they're a part of something. Rick's right.
Oh, yeah.
Rick is absolutely right. I mean, hell, Sabres have lost 10 straight. They're still buying tickets to that.
Oh, wow.
Not great, Tommy.
10 straight?
Not great. Kimmy, where's farther from China or from Italy?
Okay.
China or
So if you're taking a flight, because the last Winter Olympics were in Beijing.
Oh.
So from a flight from Italy, Rome, Italy to Beijing is about 11 and a half hours.
Okay.
A flight from Rome to Albany, which I would think would be like probably the closest airport.
Works for me.
10 and a half.
Right,
close. All right, Kimmy, Google how many times China would fit into America. What country's landmass is bigger, China or America?
And do they have hot chocolate? Because I don't think they have chocolate over there.
Shut up. They have Chinese chocolate.
There's no such thing as Chinese chocolate.
Of course there's
They
Chinese
got Chinese
chocolate.
checkers. They ain't got no Chinese chocolate.
Of course there is Chinese chocolate.
I don't think they have chocolate over there.
China has a larger landmass than the United States.
There's no way.
Kiss my brown.
There's no way.
It looks kind of close, though. 'Cause
There's
they have
no
them
way.
overlapping. It's a little bit bigger.
There's no way.
There's 1 billion people over there, man.
Look at it on a map. They look very similar.
That's like arguing New York City is bigger than Jacksonville because there's more people in New York City.
Cooler people, for sure.
In
New York.
Okay.
Jacksonville.
Well, we can agree on that. Jacksonville sucks.
And they have hot chocolate.
Shut up.
For
Why
some
would you
reason.
need hot chocolate in Jacksonville?
Thank you.
Let's take a break. Speaking of sports, we're going to get back into this Bills game with Dan Fates in just a little while from 13 Wham and Buffalo Plus. But it's good to be king, man. And I'm not even talking about Josh Allen. There's a baseball player who signed a contract that
another one?
The same guy.
Yeah.
We talked about 2 weeks ago. Jaw-dropping money. But it turns out that the largest contract in professional sports history wasn't enough to get him signed on the dotted line.
Oh.
Because the contract also comes with perks.
On top of the gazillion dollars.
Wait till you hear what he is getting for free on top of the largest guaranteed contract in sports history.
Because it's like $1 billion.
It's $750 million. It's over $750 million. Yeah. It's enough to build an Olympic Village in Lake Placid.
Oh, yeah, nice one.
We'll tell you the story next year in the break room. On 96.5 WCMF. We jump back into this Bills game on a Victory Monday with our good buddy from 13 a.m. at Buffalo Plus, Dan Fates, just after 9 o'clock. But before we get there, you're hanging out in the break room. Rochester's Classic Rock 96.5. WCMF, we don't talk baseball much on this show.
No.
But when a man signs the largest contract in professional sports history, it's going to move a needle.
Sure.
Juan Soto did that with the New York Mets 2 weeks ago, and you could not believe the amount of money he signed for. 15-year, $765 million contract. That's over $750 million. And who's going to say no to something like that?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out, Tommy,
even
a man who signed a bigger contract than any other human who's ever played sports also likes his free perks.
Oh, so it's a little bit more enticement?
Tommy, over the weekend,
it
was reported, on top of the money Soto gets with the Mets, he also...
There's more.
Oh, boy. Did you see this?
No.
He gets a free premium suite in Citi Field where the Mets play for every single home game.
For the family.
Regular season and playoffs.
Yeah.
So that suite is his forever.
Yeah.
On top of that,
yeah,
he gets 4 premium tickets right behind home plate for every single game.
Okay.
Soto left the Yankees.
You must have a lot of friends.
Well, when you have a $765 billion,
everybody's your friend.
So Soto left the Yankees, and there were a lot of Yankees fans who wondered why he walked, despite the Yankees being very close to the same money the Mets offered. It turns out
there was more.
He asked for exactly this from the Yankees.
Wait, just
a suite and the tickets.
Yeah.
They said no.
I kind of get it though, man. Jesus Christ, man. Buy the goddamn tickets.
Okay.
Here's $1 billion. What else you want?
Okay, that might have been the difference. You think George Steinbrenner, when he was alive, would have said no to that?
Steinbrenner was weird, man, about his stuff.
Okay, all right, fair
enough. You know how
enough.
weird he was.
Fair enough.
But that's it?
That might have been the. Well, I mean, look, it's New York either way, so he doesn't have to move.
No,
they're offering you. I cannot imagine
everything you wanted and more.
But like, what a lot! I mean, I know we're talking $765 million, so I mean, it's pennies in comparison. But 4 home plate tickets for 82 games a year, and a suite for 82 games a year, a luxury suite, that's millions of dollars.
It is.
Oh yeah,
millions of dollars
for the playoffs too.
They just
potentially,
handed it to him.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still not done.
Wait, there's more.
Yes. Soto gets a hotel suite on the road just for him for every road trip the Mets take.
Right.
The team will be taking care of his family's travel arrangements for all games they want to attend.
So they basically fly with him if they want.
If they want to. Not only that, the team is paying for personal security for not only Soto, but his entire family for spring training and the regular season.
So he's got armed guards.
Yeah. So it seems like he just asked for whatever they wanted, and they were like, sure.
Is he that good?
We'll find out.
Like, I mean, if you don't win the World Series, you're going to be pissed.
Yeah. I mean, you got 15 years to do it. Well, like 4, really, before the contract starts to become questionable. But, yes, I mean, he's young. Guys that age rarely come free to sign. I think he's, 26?
Yeah, he's definitely not 30 yet.
Yeah.
26 and all that coin.
Bro, I mean, this is going to – I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I do worry this is going to end horribly.
It's going to end horribly because there's just too much there.
And there are just certain franchises where things seem to they just don't get lucky on things like this.
Oh, I don't even mean for the Mets. I mean for Juan Soto as a person.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, how can you sign?
Baseball's so tricky, too, because those guys can have, like, these years where they have these amazing stats and then fall into a slump for a few years. You know what I mean? Like, it's not – rarely is a baseball player consistent season after season after season.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's too much money. He's too young. There's going to be problems either not directly at him or around him that are going to start cropping up. It's almost impossible not to.
And I don't want that to happen.
I know, but it just kind of comes with the coin.
I hope we're wrong.
It would be a first for somebody to have making that much money, no issues.
252-WCMF, 252-9263. Again, we're talking about Juan Soto, the man who signed the largest contract in professional sports history with the Mets 2 weeks ago, 15-year, $765 million, a part of the deal. He also gets a free premium suite for every home game with the Mets. He gets behind home plate premium tickets for every game all season long. They are paying for his family to travel with him whenever they want to go. They are paying for he and his family's private security. They
have
are also
a suite, right?
Yeah, they are also They're also allowing his family to travel with the team, and they will be paying for that whenever they want to. And Jason writes us, and he's right about this. He's also able to opt out of this deal in 5 years if he wants to.
So he could go somewhere else potentially?
And make more money.
Yeah, but you're always looking to make more money.
No, but I mean
when you're a billionaire.
That's not out of the question.
He's gonna Tiger Woods.
Now you're hoping for it, and that makes you.
But describe what you mean by he's gonna Tiger Woods.
All the Tiger Woods' problems. They manifest over time. They got worse and worse and worse. And the more he tried to cover up or fix it, compounded
The
problems.
shocking thing I think about the Tiger Woods situation though is because it was just so what we thought was so out of character for a guy like Tiger Woods who seems so buttoned up.
He was so corporate.
But we don't know. I guess I don't know enough about Juan Soto's personal life to not suspect anything to happen.
And in the defense of Juan Soto here, Tiger Woods was a household name.
Yes.
I mean, look, I
understand.
You didn't know who Juan Soto was till
you knew everything about his family. It was all out there.
So is he married with kids?
Kimmy, you want to jump on that? He's 26.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know.
Because that's also, man, if you're single in New York with that kind of coin.
Yeah, but I mean, look, I know this is
what?
This is going to sound dumb. What? If you're making 10 mil or you're making 765 mil at 26, what's the difference? In New York, you're playing baseball every day.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I don't know. A-Rod got into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but that guy's a legitimate psychopath.
But he got into a lot of...
He did.
He got into a lot of fun trouble.
He did.
Just
Doesn't
the
seem
ladies.
like he's married.
So he's single? Oh, my God.
Just the chicks that are going to come around, bro.
Oh, man.
He'll see the top talent of Manhattan.
Probably aren't. He's been a Yankee, don't forget. I mean,
Yeah, but now
this
he's got
isn't like
this.
new. Fame isn't new to him.
No, but he went to the top.
No, but she's right. I mean, you were a Yankee in New York the year they went to the World Series
You're
for the
also
first
the
time.
richest athlete now in Manhattan.
No, you're the richest athlete on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
So what's Manhattan? He can go to Dubai, start his own baseball team.
Oh, he could.
The Dubai Yankees. Try and sue me here. No intellectual property. All right, so let's take a break.
All right.
Josh Allen, he will be getting a new contract in the offseason. There's reports about that. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. He won't be getting $765 million.
No.
But he did get a hell of a win yesterday in Detroit. And there is a lot to talk about with this game. But I do want to get in early with Dan. The play that Kimmy believes was the difference maker. A ballsy coach making a ballsy play.
Yeah.
His balls blew up right in his face. We'll get into it on a Victory Monday with our good buddy from 13 Wham at Buffalo Plus, Dan Fates, next here on CMF.
Play clock down to 7. Another handoff to Cook. Through a hole. Darts to the middle of the field. 30, 25, 20. Still on his feet. 10, 5. And Cook is in for the touchdown. His second rushing touchdown of the game. Goes 41 yards.
James Cook over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 less dreadlock. God, that looked painful.
Yes, it did.
God, that looked. I always wonder, like, does the hair just come out, or is there like a piece of the scalp that comes with it?
I don't know. It's got to kill
right?
you.
I mean, that's his regular hair.
No, that's his hair.
Yeah.
So that would rip out
I
of
would
the
think
roots.
it's
But hey, man.
Gonna leave a mark.
By any means necessary. Your Buffalo Bills win a 48-42 shootout in the Motor City. You're hanging out in the break room. Rochester's Classic Rock 96.5. WCMF, they are 11-3. They are sitting pretty. By the way, the Bills win 2 out of their next 3. They guarantee no lower than the 2 seed in the AFC playoffs. Right. And with the Steelers losing yesterday, they stand alone record-wise at number 2. Man. With all of that being said, we bring in a man who's number 1 in our hearts. From 13 Wham and Buffalo Plus, brand new Papa, and a man who's going to tell you how funny jokes are after you tell them. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Fates. How are you, Danny? What's going on, buddy?
I think I could see Tommy's snarky face through the phone when he said number 1 in our heart.
He does have snarky face. Yeah.
Resting snark face is what they say. All right, so Dan, we had you on last week, and I asked Tommy Muley a question. I had asked you, Tommy, if I allowed you to switch Sean McDermott with Dan Campbell for head coach of the Buffalo Bills, would you do it? And you said,
yeah, hell yeah.
Dan, would you argue that Sean McDermott showed Dan Campbell how to coach in big spots yesterday in Detroit?
Yeah, I think he was the better coach in that game. I thought the onside kick was a little aggressive. Look, I know that's Dan Campbell.
Okay, let me time out there because I want to get into this a little deeper. I'm sorry, Dan. I don't mean to cut you off. So, Bills up 10 with 12 minutes left. Dan Campbell decides to call an onside kick, and now with the new NFL rules, you have to declare.
Tell him what you're doing.
You got it. So, Dan, there are folks who are crushing him for this idea. There's also a bunch of nerds who are arguing it was a brilliant move.
Got the Bills score quick.
Yes. Dan, where do you fall on that, Dan?
Well, I thought it was a little desperate in that time. I think that's one of those things where if Sean McDermott does that, it's, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't understand anything. But because it's Dan Campbell, it's like, oh, he's cool. He's aggressive. This is Dan Campbell. Things like that. I thought his answer after the game in the press conference when a reporter asked him about that, because it was kind of, listen, sometimes in the media you ask dumb questions and you just kind of hope to get some kind of answer. And the question was, what was the thought process with going with the onside kick there? And he goes, I thought we would recover it, which is a classic answer. And then he goes, as Mac Hollins is running the other way, I'm thinking this was probably a bad idea. Like, yeah, that's how this works. But I thought it was it also showed just how much respect, I think also too, of like the ungodly play that Josh Allen is playing at that point where you just have no faith. Like, we can't stop this guy. So maybe we have better luck with our hands team than anything else.
Okay, so you bring that up to the point about how well Josh Allen has played. In his last 4 games, Tommy, since the bye, and I'm going to keep saying this over and over again, because you said he was going to fold this week. You said the Josh Train.
You said Josh Train stops in Detroit.
Yeah. Everybody off? As I remember the quote.
Yeah.
Since the bye week, in 4 games, Josh Allen has 1,100 yards passing. He has 225 yards rushing. He has 16 touchdowns. He is averaging 4 touchdowns a game, and he has turned the ball over 1 time. Dan?
Is that good?
I think it's pretty good, Dan.
Yeah, I saw the stat over the last 3 games. No interceptions, no fumbles, no sacks, and he has 1 negative play, which was the kneel down during the Lions game.
Oh, Danny boy, it feels so good.
Yeah, it's just, I know that Lamar had 5 touchdowns against a really, really bad Giants team in the 1 o'clock slate, and everybody's like, don't count out Lamar. And then Josh just went, hold my beer. Like, look at how good I am. And the play that he's doing inside the 5-yard line, Josh is just a cheat code anytime he wants to run the ball. Joe Brady was dialing up everything, had them completely the Lions just completely off balance. And this was a game of classic everybody eats. Like this goes back to it, like the fact of when Joe Brady is is calling everything that he wants, and Ty Johnson has 100 yards. Like, that was a game where the Bills were more prepared. They out-schemed the Lions. They were the more physical team for a team that has been the team that has imposed their will. That they're the ones that are, dominating the line of scrimmage. And the Bills got their asses kicked in L.A. This was a time where they opened it up on them. And that was really good to see, because that was my concern after that Rams game of, like, they just got dominated at the line of scrimmage. And that could happen in the playoffs. They showed that they're also a team that when the time is right and everything works well, they can do that as well.
But, Dan, it's just so weird to me. It's so weird. And here's what's weird. I listen to this radio show every weekday morning, 6 to 10, and they have this football expert that was yelling all last week that the Lions were tougher, and they were more physical, and they were more intimidating, and they were going to show up and embarrass the Beverly Bill. What happened, Tom? What happened?
I wouldn't listen to that show.
You should. You don't listen based on how you answer questions. You want to answer for yourself here? What do you mean, what? You puked all over yourself. Everything you said last week.
Well, doesn't that make sense? If they suck against the Rams and they show up over here, I don't know.
You're over here now, I'm over here.
I'm over here. Billy Crystal will be right out of the room.
I told you last week, sometimes teams just catch bad matchups and bad moments against desperate teams. Dan, please tell Tommy what I'm trying to explain.
Well, it's a week-to-week league. Like, they couldn't force a punt at all against the Rams. And they go up against the number one offense statistically in the National Football League, a team that many, myself included, would be a bad matchup, that the Lions could run the ball down their throats, and then they would just pass with two of their two starting safeties out, their number one cornerback out. Like, this is a nightmare situation to go into Detroit. And this is just a classic case of, like, it's a week-to-week league. Everybody overreacts. Catalana always says it. Seabag says it's win or panic in the NFL. So they lost last week, and everybody panics. And, this team can't do it, and it's Sean again in close games and all these things. This was a case, and some of it, I know after losses, like, it's like, oh, Sean this and the coaching staff this. I also think some of it, coaching in the NFL is more impactful than any other professional sport. Baseball, hockey, and basketball. I get that. But there is a case where, Daquan Jones has said it to us last year, that football does come down to a man whooping another man. And what Ed Oliver did yesterday was that classic case of there wasn't anything really schemed up or coaching for Ed Oliver. He just started pancaking grown men and took over that football game. It was awesome to see. It's also a little annoying, Duffy, of why we saw that and we don't see it every single week when that was probably the best offensive line that the Bills have faced. So that's where I come down to look at some of this where I'm going, hey, that wasn't coaching. That was just guys maybe more dialed in, maybe more focused for whatever reason.
Well, didn't they jump on Ed Oliver's ass, saying he wasn't doing much?
Last week there was ass jumping on Ed Oliver.
I mean, everybody was saying this guy is a ghost.
Yeah. They were comparing his statistics up to this point from last year, which was unbelievable.
So then he stepped it up.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, look,
so you got to jump his crap.
Or sometimes you can just whoop a man's ass. Sometimes it just happens. Every once in a while, there's an ass whooping that happens. 252 WCMF, Dan Fates from 13 Wham at Buffalo Plus joining us here on a victory postgame Monday on CMF. I had argued this morning, Dan, and I mean, Tommy, I've been on fire. I've been on fire. Just click.
I guess the class thing is to not bring it up.
Oh, you mean like not like you when you nail things in your picks, not like you?
I keep quiet.
Oh, does it hurt your butt? Does your butt hurt? Oh,
my butt tingles every time I'm around you.
Tingling butt, Tommy.
Oh, Jesus.
I know. It's bad. Dan, the Lions threw every trick they had at the Bills. We talked about the onside kick with 12 minutes left, up 10. You have a lateral pass back to the quarterback. You have an offensive lineman catching a touchdown. You have a hook and ladder. And the Bills took all of those punches and maintained. Like, it didn't throw their defensive game off at all.
Well, wait a minute. They just scored 40 points.
No, I understand, but you
make
also
it sound like a blowout.
The point I'm making is those trick plays serve two purposes. Yeah. One, to gain chunks or score touchdowns.
Make out Oliver look good.
And two, to take you out of what you're normally doing because you're scared something else crazy is going to happen. Dan, the Bills stayed the course defensively after all of those crazy things happening.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my friends last night, and I said,
whoa,
I set myself up.
Whoa.
Damn it, I set myself up for that.
Well, then why don't you finish the joke?
Go ahead, Dan.
No, it's not a joke, but I knew I set myself up. As soon as those words came out of my mouth, I was like, Tommy and Duffy are not going to let this one slide. Yes. So I was talking to somebody last night, and I
said, Dan sucks. He's got no friends. No friends, Dan is what they call him.
Yeah, and I said, I actually was impressed by the defense. And I know everybody's reaction is going to be like, well, the Tommy voice, well, they gave up 42 points. Like, how can you be impressed by
Yes.
that? And the fact of, and I said, and they gave up 40 points now in back-to-back games. That's not good, right? This was a defense that I thought, especially after that Rams game, and you're without Rasul Douglas, and you're without Taylor Rapp, and you're without DeMar Hamlin. I don't think that this defense, they were never going to win this game, Duffy. Like, they were never going to hold the Lions to 20 points and say, way to go, defense. We flexed our muscles. We did it. They had to do enough. They had to force a couple of punts. They had to manage the expectations, maybe force a turnover, maybe flip the field a few times, get some stops, give the offense some rest. And they did that. They forced the turnover with a great play by Christian Benford, and Matt Milano recovers that fumble. They forced 2 punts early to give the offense the chance to jump out to a 14-0 lead, to take the Lions out of that running game that has been so dominant and one of the Bills' weaknesses. They did just enough. And I think at some point that deserves some credit, like where they did just get walked down the field time in and time out like they did against the Rams.
There's your award for doing just enough.
You would love to win that award.
It's the just enough award.
You've never done enough for anything.
If that award existed, you wouldn't win it.
Thank you. Thank you. You've been on this planet 103 years. You've never done enough of anything.
But like I said, also, it's 42. It was really 35, like the last who cares touchdown. Like, I just looked at that game and I thought, man, that was a gutsy effort by a shorthanded defense on the road after they got their ass kicked in L.A. to kind of bow up and do enough. And they knew that in that case, hey, we're not going to hold them to 18 points. But if we can keep them to 30, 33, Josh is on another level right now. Josh will win us the game. We can't lose the game. We have to do enough to keep us in it, and they did. And I think that deserves some credit.
Yeah.
And for whoever you blamed last week for the bad defense, like I said, it's funny that when the defense is great, it's Bobby Bevich, and when it's bad, the defense is Sean McDermott. So whoever you were blaming last week, whether it's McDermott or Bobby Bevich, they deserve credit for what they were able to do, Tommy, to get just enough to get the win.
Okay, so with all that being said, Dan Fates with 13 win Buffalo Plus hanging out with us. We talked about the shorthanded defense.
Yeah.
You walk into yesterday, your starting safeties in Taylor Rapp and DeMar Hamlin are not dressing. Your starting corner in Rasul Douglas is not there. So 75% of your defensive backfield
75%.
against the highest scoring team in the NFL not playing.
Yeah.
In the game, rookie Cole Bishop, who is not ready for prime time. And I love the kid, and it takes about 3 years for safeties to cook in this system. He's not ready to go.
Good.
He goes down. At one point, when the Lions are frantically trying to come back, you had a man in Kareem Jackson who was on the practice squad hours before that game playing next to Cam Lewis, who doesn't even play safety. At one point, Catalana got snaps at safety for the Bills yesterday. You remember what he said in the huddle when they was trying to figure out what was going on?
You got to ask yourself, guys, we just got to do just enough. That's all we got to do. If we do just enough, I think we can win this game.
I mean, Dan, that seems like a situation where most defensive coaches, no matter how good the scheme is, it's over, right? Like you have a practice squad guy and a guy who doesn't play that position, and they still manage to slow them down enough to run that clock out to win.
That's a great point, Duffy.
Of course it is, Dan.
That's an astute point that you're also adding to me. You missed out also, too, that Matt Milano goes down with a groin injury, and you're missing Dorian Williams with an elbow injury. So they're back to their fourth linebacker on top of the 75% of the secondary that's already injured. But apparently that's not good enough for a ball knower, Tommy Muley.
Oh, he knows balls all right.
Yeah. So I guess, again, I understand the 40 points. I get all that. I think there is something to be said for being a gutsy effort in that situation, in those circumstances, to come out with enough to get the win.
All right, so Dan, let me ask you a question. Now, I know that you've been on paternity leave for a little while, and that you're in the room with the guys, after practice and games and stuff, and Amari Cooper's only been there a couple of weeks. The most telling stat, I mean telling's the wrong word, astounding stat, is with that offensive performance that Josh had yesterday, over 400 yards in total offense, all those touchdowns, Amari Cooper not only didn't have a catch, they didn't throw the ball towards him. Amari Cooper's been in this league a long time. He looks like a guy that just wants to win. In your humble opinion, based on your interaction with him in the room in this short time, is Amari Cooper the kind of starting wide receiver that can have a game with no targets and be okay with it?
Yeah, I don't think he cares at all.
Okay.
We've heard him talk about this the 2 out of the last 3 weeks. I can't remember what exactly. I can't remember the Kansas City game. I think he talked about this is the most fun he's ever had playing football, and that he also said that the week before one of the other games that he was just like, Josh is amazing. Like, I'm just having so much fun. I found that this is the most I've loved playing football in a long time. I don't think he cares. He has been on some bad teams. He's been on dysfunctional teams and organizations and locker rooms. To be a part of this culture, which, again, is a big testament to what both of those head coaches have created in Dan Campbell and Sean McDermott.
But Sean McDermott
I think
more.
that goes a long way. Sean McDermott more, absolutely, because that's a better locker room and a better culture because they played yesterday and they won.
Damn right they did. You're damn right they did. No, like I couldn't help but think, like I didn't even realize in the game because everything was so chaotic.
Yeah,
that,
I mean, you kind of forget, like we were saying earlier, you forget certain guys are even playing because it just depends on who's going to pop that game or who's going to come up with a big catch, and you just never know who it's going to be.
I mean, Kimmy, your third-string running back was your leading
Yeah,
receiver yesterday.
I know,
He was
wild.
averaging 20 yards a catch. It's insane. But, like, I couldn't help, Dan, but think back to the side-by-side, Tommy, of what Stephon Diggs is and was, and what Amari Cooper is and was. And I get that Stephon Diggs is more talented, but, Dan, you could not
You got to
have...
let Josh be the boss. I think that's what we're finding out.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, Dan, you could not have won a game with Stephon Diggs not getting a target and gotten out of that clean last season.
Yeah, it would be funny to see what this offense would be like with no knock at Amari Cooper, but a true number one guy, like an alpha, but
That's kind of a knock.
the way that this has,
A real man. Yeah, he can
the way
run.
that this has all worked out, going back to
Please, a lady.
the training camp in this offseason was, can Josh step up and be that guy? Can he be the alpha? Can he step forward? And he's done all of that. So, yeah, I even think about Mac Hollins, like a guy that is talking so much trash every single snap that he is out there, whether it's blocking, whether it's on special teams, whether he's recovering the onside kick and things like that. That's another testament to the guys. And I thought going back to the offseason, they were doubling down, Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane, on culture over talent. They were moving on from some of the talent. They went younger, and they wanted to get back to what was the process in all of these things. It was almost like the egos in the locker room got a little bit too big. And we've heard players talk about it feels different this year. Different, sometimes you're like, oh, so this is better than before. It feels fresher. They feel lighter. Like that's the vibe that I've gotten around the locker room. And I think that when you talk about a guy like Amari Cooper, he comes in there and kind of sees that and embraces it, whatever his stats are. I think he had, 12, 13 targets last week? So it's not like he's not being used at all or anything like that. It's just this everybody eats. Who's up this game?
All right, Dan.
Stop doing that.
I will not, because I mean,
You're making Tommy uncomfortable.
So pervy.
He can't turn his head today, so he's
Yeah.
stuck looking at you.
That's what happens when you're 108.
Oh! In your old face from Dan Fates. Special delivery, knuckle sandwich. Dan, let's say I love all the work that you and Jenna and fourth-string safety Mike Catalana do for the 13-Way Sports team. And I wanted all of the Buffalo content you have, but just, plus a little bit more.
But that's it. That's all you get.
No, I think – well, what if I wanted plus that?
They have to create something.
Well, really? You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, bad news for Tommy is I'm back this week, so we're going to lose a subscriber to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel because Tommy's not going to watch anymore.
He has no idea how to subscribe.
YouTube.
You old.
He doesn't even know where our YouTube page is.
the YouTube, Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. They got those guys. Mike and Jenna are driving back from Detroit. The whole gang will be back together. My paternity leave is up. So I am, Tommy, I know you're very excited for me to get back on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel
I never knew you
produce
left.
more content. Yeah.
Hey, a lot more hoodies and blazers. Buddy.
Yeah, yeah.
You got it, man. A bunch of Coach Skateboard. A bunch of cool guys.
All right, see, here's the
Cool
thing.
guys.
Dan felt he flew too close to the sun. He was doing so good, and he flew too close to the sun. Dan, you were almost there, buddy. You got to know when to punch out, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dan, you did a great job
my
up until the very end, and we
Yes.
really appreciate your time, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'll try and be better next week.
Thank you.
Or no, 2 weeks.
We'll figure it out. Dan, always a pleasure, buddy. Have a good rest of the day.
Appreciate it, guys.
There goes Dan Fates. 13 Wham and Buffalo Plus, almost doing a great job.
Oh, God.
See, like here, just a quick sidebar.
He almost went with the okay because he was very close, walking a fine line.
If you listen to the show on a regular basis, you know it's rare that we have folks from the outside on as like guests, right? Very rarely. And when we do think that someone can handle the situation, there is this weird, it like follows the same path every time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like have them on, they start having fun. Right. Well, we're busting balls. They let us do our thing. They do their thing. Then they start to feel more comfortable, right? And then they get in.
The trap.
And then, it goes too far, and they end up hating us. So do we think we make it out of this Bills season before Fates hates all of us?
I think we're going to have to probably find somebody else for next year.
Next year? But you think we get the whole season out?
Playoffs included?
Oh, you think he's going to hate us so much that he's
I'm asking.
Not gonna
well, you know him better.
Well, yeah, but...
Well, you're already out, so Pat and I are the only ones holding on here.
Yeah.
Maintaining the relationship.
Yeah, it's like if it was the Titanic, like you're already in a lifeboat, like paddling away, and Kimmy and I are like trying to hold on to him. Don't let go, Dan. Don't let go. All right, let's take a break. Christmas is 9 days away.
No, it's next Wednesday. Isn't it?
Today's the 16th.
Yeah, no, he's right. It's next.
Yeah, so I know. I'm just saying. He's trying to argue that I'm wrong.
No, I'm trying to think. I always.
Why don't you let me do the thinking for the show from now on?
I always think, it's weird when Christmas is in the middle of the week.
Yep. Mm-hmm. No, I hear you. I mean, you've only had that 30 times in your life. What I'm getting at is, as you can tell by Tommy's spaz there, Christmas, getting ready for Christmas, it's a stressful time.
Oh, sure.
And what I can't figure out, with a bunch of people going on social media talking about how excited they are to do this, and it's going to cost you a fortune. If traveling to this place to spend your Christmas here would be more or less stressful. We'll tell you what we're talking about next here in the break room on CMF. The holidays are stressful.
Oh, too much.
Not breaking news. And that's just doing it, at home.
Yeah.
Right? What we need to figure out here is if this, the most popular travel destination for Christmas, according to several mommy blogs now, so take that for what it's worth, would make your holidays traveling more stressful or less stressful.
Okay.
You're hanging out in the break room, Rochester's Classic Rock 96.5, WCMF. So apparently, the most popular travel destination for Christmas Day in America is Disney World.
Yeah.
You knew this already?
Well, family trip to Orlando. It's a big one, yeah.
All right. So Disney, if you would like to, will allow you to spend where your holiday is completely taken care of.
Yeah.
Everything from decorations to presents to your day at the park. There's special things, obviously, for Christmas. They're open on Christmas, which does not seem very Christian, Tommy.
Yes.
And it looks like hell because we all know how hard it is to get a family on the road, in a plane, whatever, to get anywhere you're going.
Yeah.
But at the same time, being away from home would also eliminate some of the most stressful things you would have to do to get ready for the holiday.
Yeah.
So 252-WCMF, 252-9263, because I'm sure there are people listening that have done this before. Is traveling to Disney for Christmas more or less stressful?
So I used to travel a lot around the holidays to go see my family in Florida.
Yeah.
So
And they were very excited about that.
They loved me. They couldn't get enough of Tommy. So I would fly down every year for the holidays. So when you would get to JFK and see all those families, and that Disney just going to see grandparents or flying down to Florida to get out of the weather to see the other family, it was so miserable.
Okay.
And it was right when you couldn't fly with gifts that were wrapped.
Oh.
And people didn't know it. So I'm at TSA at the airport here, and they're ripping open packages. And people were flipping out. It looked so horrible. Then the strollers and the bags.
Okay.
And, like, the load in to get these kids in and quiet was impossible.
So you're saying the actual act of getting there would eliminate any stress that you're saving being on Disney
It ain't
property.
worth it.
Thoughts, Kimmy?
Well, I'm thinking, like, yes, you're traveling the busiest time of the year, and that would definitely be probably the most stressful part of it. But I got to imagine, like, as a parent, once you're there, I mean, and you don't have to deal with family or buying gifts for other people, I would think, like, it's got to be kind of nice. Like, once you get there, now all the entertainment's just, like, already there for you.
Okay.
But then you get the turnaround. So you get 4 days at Disney, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to do it all over again to go home.
Yeah.
It's the same march back.
But, like, I mean, to Kimmy's point, like, you're not cooking,
All
which
right.
takes off a massive stress.
Yeah.
I mean, are you doing presents for your kid?
That's
if you
what I
take
was
them to
wondering, though,
Disney?
too. You're going to have, like, a present opening Christmas morning, or is it just this is your gift?
Yeah.
Or you can do it before you leave?
Well,
or
no.
whatever.
If I'm paying for my kids to go to Disney, and it's one of the most
See, you
expensive
already got an
times.
attitude.
It's already one of the most
All right,
expensive times of the year. You're not getting presents on top of Disney. Like, I'm being very clear with my children. This is Christmas. Shut up.
But that's
would
already going to
depend-
put them in a bad mood now.
It would probably depend on, like, the age of your kids, too. Like, little ones, like toddlers. Like, if you got to worry about carting around a stroller the whole time, probably not worth it. But if your kids are just at that age where this is all magical still, I would think, like, that's the prime time, best case scenario Christmas Disney World.
Yeah, but those kids would also expect presents. Like, I will say this, man. If I got up Christmas morning and we're ready to go to Disney and my kid goes, "Where's the presents?" I may melt down. I may melt. Because you know how expensive these trips are, man.
Yeah, because traveling is stressful for a family. It just is.
Yeah.
So add the holidays to it. The everybody's traveling at once. The airports suck. Getting a rent-a-car, any of that stuff is maddening. The crowds are crazy.
But when you weigh that against the stress of dealing with your family, cooking, having to do all the shopping for the gifts for the kids, I mean.
It sounds like it's a break even at best.
Okay, that might be a good statement.
You'll just be miserable with a tan.
I mean, the one thing that could push the stress over the top, I mean, I know that Christmas is the most expensive holiday, if you celebrate it for everybody, right? But the money that you'd be spending in Disney would stress the heck.
Insane.
Yeah, right? I mean, for 4 days, for Christmas time.
And you're
the
not going to have
flights.
fun. Because it's not like you and your old lady can go out, have a nice meal, go back to the hotel, throw each other around the room and have some fun. You got to deal with these kids, so you're not going to you're not even going to get good hotel sex.
Yeah, but you're not going.
But the goal is it's a family vacation,
right? So you're not going to have any fun.
You know what you're getting into.
What?
No, but it's not like you're getting that at home either. Like your kids are off from school.
I understand that, but this is
holiday
but
time's
I'm
already
spending.
stressful.
I'm in a hotel.
Okay.
I'm in Florida. I have a boner. I got to run
Well,
to the
put that
bathroom
away.
and rub one out in between shifts.
Jesus.
Wow.
That's what's going to happen.
No, you can just not touch yourself for 4 days.
4 days of not touching yourself. When I'm a prime young man. I just made a couple of kids.
252
How did
WCMF.
you ruin this?
252-9263. It
Your
turns
kids
out
ruin it.
the most popular Christmas destination in America is Disney World, and people spend a fortune, book out years in advance
yeah,
to try and
the
get these
planning.
reservations at the hotels and all this stuff, and they will take care of you if you have the money to spend, right? Like the dinners, and they'll wrap gifts and they'll put them in your room and all this stuff. And what we're trying to figure out is it more stressful to do Christmas at home? Or would it be more stressful to travel to a place like Disney World, the happiest place on earth, and go about it that way? I'm telling you, I think the money makes it more stressful. I think that's the end of it.
The money is too much.
It's got to be too much.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because the other thing about having the holidays at home, you kind of know what to expect. You know the routine. You know the deal. When you go, it's a road game, and you don't know what you're getting on a road game. The hotel ain't ready. The room's not ready yet. Oh, I lost your reservation. We don't have any more rented cars. What do we do now? It's because every trip you take, something's going to happen.
You're
It's
right.
just the way it goes.
You're right. 252 WCMF. Let's talk to Chris. Hey, Chris, how are you, buddy?
Hey, Duffy. Going to Disney World during Christmas is insanity.
Have you?
Yes.
Listen to the defeat in his voice. Go on, Chris. I want to hear about it.
It's wall-to-wall people. It's super expensive. I mean, you could look easily $10,000 to $15,000 when you're all done.
All right, so how many people?
Yes.
How many people did you pay for, Chris?
5.
So you and your wife and 3 kids?
Yep.
Okay.
How much?
It was about $13,000.
And that was
Damn, you rich?
That was on Disney property, Chris?
Yeah, it was Disney property.
And how many days?
It was 5 days.
5 days for almost 15 grand.
Yeah, I know, man. So you're over $2,000 a day. I mean, Chris, so if you break it down with the 3 kids, if you split that presents-wise, those kids are getting a $4,000 Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep, exactly.
Whose idea was it, you or your wife's?
We both had it. It was both our ideas. We like Disney, but we said, oh, let's try it. And we're not doing that again.
I can't
How
imagine
were the
spending
kids?
that money.
Were the kids old enough? Like, what were the kid age ranges that you brought?
Oh, they were old enough. My youngest was 12.
I didn't spend that much money on my first 2 wives. Period.
Yeah, and look what happened.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
Not
out.
a great example.
He's still in.
So is Disney during the holidays? Is it busier than normal? Like, is that a peak?
The weather, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't sure.
Christmas Day is the busiest day at Disney's Magic Kingdom. They can hit capacity by 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
my
They get all those
God.
foreign
No,
tourists
thank you.
coming in there too.
Oh, wait, tourists from
Warsaw.
So, Chris, like with the package that you bought, are you guaranteed entry, or is there a chance you don't even get into the park?
There is a possibility that you can't get into the park, but if you're staying on property,
Go to Gatorland.
They'll let you into the park, but you're going to get in and you're going to be you'll be standing in line for something that normally takes 25 minutes to get on for an hour and a half.
All right, so Chris, the all-important question: you spend $13,000 on the trip. You take the 3 kids and the wife. You're going to do a magical Christmas at Disney on the busiest day of the year. Did you also buy presents for the kids to open up on Christmas Day?
We got them things in the park.
Oh,
like they picked up a stuffed animal or something like that.
That's
grabbed
got to
it
be a
for 'em.
fortune.
Yeah, that was part of the $13,000.
Oh, great. Well, you put it like that, you get a stuffed bear out of it.
It is funny, though, man. Like, Chris can back me up on this. It's what's called Disney economy mind warping, because the first day you walk into the park, you see that these stuffed animals cost $80, and you go, you got to be effing kidding me.
Yeah.
And when you spend 2 or 3 days walking through the park, by the time you're
75, that's a steal.
Exactly. Like, by the time you're walking out, Chris, it warps your mind so much that those prices don't even mean anything to you anymore.
Yeah, $6 for a cookie is like, oh, that's not bad.
Yes, it's insane.
God.
Well, Chris, we're glad you made it through to the other side, buddy. Welcome home. Welcome home.
Thanks, Duffy.
All right, there goes Disney Chris.
Man, that is some sticker shock.
All right, I'm staying home. Not that there was ever a chance I was going back anyway. Oh, come back, wrap it up. Tell you what we're doing tomorrow next year in the break room. I'll see you, man. That's going to be Rapper
Howdy-ho, Monday Rapper.
Tommy and I just spent the last minute of the commercial break trying to figure out a really mean name. We came up with someone that we forgot.
I hate when I forget insults.
But
Something that you like, too.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's how it works. But, like, we're really angry with ourselves for forgetting this viciously mean nickname.
Because I'm going to see that kid again. I want to use it.
And in remembering it, you're coming up with worse nicknames.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That was way worse. So that makes tomorrow Tuesday, the break room. You know what that means.
Where are they forgetting things in the hood?
Yep, that's right. Kimmy's got her post from the neighborhood app. She's going to read it out loud, remove street names, town references. We are going to have a back-to-back champ for the first time in a long time.
Oh, you think you're going 2?
Oh, wait.
Have we ever had a back-to-back champ?
Yeah, I think Repeat did it.
Oh.
Petey, by the way, he's been ice cold. Is he hitting a year?
There might be.
What shame to his family.
Still leading the chart.
Yeah, till tomorrow. And then the week after.
All right.
And then the week after that. Where they want it coming at you just after 9 o'clock here in the break room on CMF, plus a whole bunch more. But like I said, we got to get out of the way.
Okay.
For Kimmy,
Yep.
who was no help in remembering the vicious nickname we had for this
I
person.
probably wasn't listening.
For Tommy Muley, who's going to remember it in 3 weeks
Yes.
at 2 o'clock in the morning and then forget
Shout
it
it out
again.
loud.
My name's Pat Dummy. We'll see you tomorrow morning in the break room, 6 a.m. on 96.5 WCMF.